NBC Sports presents Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. Today from Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, it's the California Angels against the Baltimore Orioles. Today's game is brought to you by New Formula Nitol. Remember, on those occasional nights when you have trouble falling asleep, there's Nitol. By Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Goodrich, we're the other guys, the leader in high-performance radials. Partly cloudy in the mid-70s in Baltimore, Maryland. Over 50,000 fans again cramming their way into Memorial Stadium for Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. The crowd, the Orioles, still aflush with the joy of victory last night. The dramatic pinch-hit home run by John Lowenstein, the first pinch-hit homer in American League Championship Series history. Hello, everyone. I'm Dick Enberg, and welcome to Baltimore for Game 2 of the American League Championships. John Lowenstein providing that pinch homer last night, and the Angels trying to recover from the emotional down that created. The Orioles just trying to get their feet back on the ground. Working with me, a man you enjoyed throughout the course of this NBC baseball season every Saturday, Wes Parker. And Wes, today, ironically, when Palmer and Ryan, you can't say anything but great things about their performance last night, but today we're seeing the top pitchers for both staffs.
We are, as far as percentage is concerned, one-loss percentage in ERA. It's amazing that Flanagan and Frost are actually better in that regard than Ryan and Palmer, and we saw such great pitching last night, but we may see better pitching today. There's another interesting contrast because Frost is a big city boy. He came out of Long Beach, California, which is just south of Los Angeles. He's used to the big city life, went to Stanford University, played basketball and baseball. Then you have Flanagan, Mike Flanagan, from a little suburb town in New Hampshire, grew up on a lake and traveled, didn't play baseball until later on. And here you have a country boy against a city boy, and it's just something you're not used to seeing. In fact, it wasn't until he started playing baseball that he actually did travel. So it should be a good matchup, and the Angels really need this game so much, Dick. They've got to come out of here with a split because no team has ever come back after being down 2-0.
Yeah, and the Angels are in the hole. They have to beat the man everyone's talking about winning the Cy Young Award, the winningest pitcher in the major leagues, Flanagan, who won 23. They do have a common denominator, Frost and Flanagan. If they're effective today, their off-speed pitches will have to be working for them. Nothing off speed about this gentleman, George Sparky Anderson, joining us in our NBC booth. Sparky, the emotions of the two managers now. You got Earl Weaver, a feisty, fiery guy who you saw. He just bolted out of the dugout. That was totally unlike Weaver to meet Lowenstein before he got to third. And then Jim Fregosi at 37 trying to rally his troops. Now, just give us a feeling what might have happened in the last 12, 14 hours.
Well, Dick, last night was a rough night for both managers. Let's face it, the game on the line all night from the 6th inning on, it was tension. Both managers hurt all night. They had a lot of jelly to sell. I'm sure they woke up today and they're still not sure who won. But I'll say this, Earl Weaver knows that he hasn't finished the Angels. He has to put the nail in the coffin. He has to win 2 more games. Jim Fregosi will change his tactics a little bit today. For one reason, he'll come and talk to his ball club and say, look, we've won 3 straight many times this year. Baltimore's not invincible. We can beat them. Let's go just do it and show everybody.
But the Angels have had difficulty winning in Baltimore. They're 1-6 this year. Interesting note, when the Orioles won last night, that made 6 playoff series. They've won the first game all 6 times, but only 3 of the previous 5 times did they go to the World Series. Flanagan, the left-hander for Baltimore, the right-hander Frost for the Angels. And now let's meet the rest of the starting lineups as we go to public address announcer Rex Barney.
As we prepare for the second game of the American League Championship Series, let's meet the starting members of the Western Division champion California Angels starting lineup. First, the manager of the California Angels, number 11, Jim Fregosi. Number 29, at first base, Rod Carew. Number 12, at third base, Carney Lansford. The right fielder, number 15, Dan Ford. Number 25, designated hitter, Don Baylor. Number 5, catcher Brian Downing. Number 4, second baseman Bobby Gritch. Number 32 in left field, Bob Clark. In center field, number 3, Rick Miller. At shortstop, number 14, Jim Anderson. Warming up in the bullpen, the pitcher, number 37, Dave Frost. And here is the remainder of the Angel squad.
And as the Angel reserves take the field, it was apparent last night that they did not have the depth, the bench, that Earl Weaver possesses. In fact, as Weaver put it very redundantly but succinctly, we have deep depth. And he showed it last night, both with Lowenstein's bat and Stanhouse coming out of the pen.
For your Eastern Division champion, Baltimore Orioles.
Well, if you're with us last night, it's like a football crowd here in Baltimore.
Weaver. In center field, number 1, Al Bumbry. At shortstop, number 3, Kiko Garcia. Number 29 in right field, Ken Singleton. At first base, number 33, Eddie Murray. In left field, number 38, John Lowenstein.
Doing, putting that man in the starting lineup.
The designated hitter, number 18, Pat Kelly. Number 11, at third base, Doug DeCinces. At second base, number 25, Rich Dower. And catching, number 24, Rick Dempsey. And warming up in the bullpen, number 46, starting pitcher, Mike Flanagan. And here's the remainder of your Orioles squad. And now will you remain standing as Cantor and Sibelman from the Har Sinai congregation in Baltimore sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the
Ready now for Game 2 of the American League Championship Series. The Angels trying to battle back and even it before heading west. The Orioles trying to go ahead 2 games to none. First pitch coming up.
You're out! Sorry, kid. Gotta take you out of cleanup.
Over 6 million shavers have said goodbye to their old razors and said hello to Atra, Gillette's best shave. Micro smooth twin blades and Atra face-hugging action combine to outshave every razor we've ever made.
Close. Very close.
Atra, Gillette's best shave.
Atra, you're in a league by yourself.
I got my start playing golf, driving a tractor.
Arnold Palmer, back home in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
My father was pro here, but before he taught me to play golf, he taught me to treat the equipment right. So, we used Pennzoil, and I think that old tractor of ours lasted 30 years or more. Look, if Pennzoil and I hadn't taken good care of the equipment, I might have never gotten on the golf course.
Pennzoil, America's ask-for motor oil.
Hey, how was bowling?
I'd rather be eating.
A bottomless pit.
Grabbing a quick burger?
We're getting Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The Colonel only uses fresh quality chicken, like I do.
And the way hamburger prices are going, it's nice to get a good, sensible meal at a good, sensible price.
Hey, I'm a going boy.
It's so nice to feel so good about a meal, so good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Memorial Stadium, around 50,000 fans. There appear to be a few seats way out in the bleachers. The Orioles about to take the field, and this is how they'll look defensively, Wes.
All right, Dick, let's look at them. Kenny Singleton will play right field again as he did last night. In center field, Al Bumbry. Over in left field, Johnny Lowenstein, who hit the game-winning home run, will start in left field, replacing Pat Kelly. Kelly will be the designated hitter. At shortstop, Kiko Garcia replaces Mark Belanger. For more bat strength, Doug DeSenses will be the third baseman. Over at second, Rich Dower. And at first base, Eddie Murray. The catcher, once again, Rick Dempsey. And the pitcher, 23-game winner, Cy Young Award candidate Mike Flanagan. As I said on the pregame show, from a little town in New Hampshire, grew up on a lake, did a lot of fishing, never traveled in his life until he started playing baseball. Mike Flanagan, in his third year, throws a good, sneaky fastball, excellent curveball, and came up with a changeup this year.
Here's the record on Mike Flanagan from Manchester, New Hampshire. Drafted by the Houston Astros in '71, elected to go to college, University of Massachusetts. 3.08 ERA, most wins any pitcher in the big leagues, 23, and finishes many of the games that he starts. He'll close his own deal. Your club had to face Flanagan, Sparky Anderson. What makes him such a successful pitcher?
Well, Dick, what makes him successful is he's got great command of all his pitches. When he's ahead of you, he'll throw you a lot of fastballs. When he's behind you, you know that he can get his curve or his changeover. This is the thing that why I say he's a complete pitcher. He's not a thrower, he's a complete pitcher.
And you say sneaky fast, but that radar gun and the Orioles use measure Flanagan right around the 90-mile-an-hour mark, so he's not slow by any means.
No, when they say sneaky fast, that's an old saying, saying he's fast.
The hitters like to tell themselves, well, he's not that fast, just sneaky fast.
Yeah, they come back to dugout and say, well, he's sneaky fast. Well, you better tune it up a little.
Usually what that means is the pitcher has a very smooth delivery, and he's throwing the ball faster than you expect to see it.
The key that Flanagan feels that has made him a total pitcher now is the changeup, and he said it took him exactly 15 minutes to learn it from his teammate Scott McGregor.
You know, Dick, I noticed something when they were introducing the players coming out on the field today. The Angel Ball Club was very reserved and very calm when each player came out. There wasn't much handshaking. The Orioles were like a college team. I'm afraid that's the one thing I think they're awful key today, the Baltimore Club.
Is that good or bad?
That's awful good when you're playing in Baltimore with Wild Bill up there leading the cheers.
Rod Carew leads it off for the California Angels, followed by Carney Lansford, and then Dan Ford. Carew, the only man to collect 3 hits in last night's opening game.
He said last night, Dick, that Palmer did him a favor in pitching him up high. Rod says because of that bad thumb, he's having a hard time hitting the low pitch.
Acquired from the Minnesota Minnesota Twins, Ken Landreau, and pitcher Paul Hartful went to Minnesota as Carew headed west. First pitch of the game. Flanagan will throw strikes. If he doesn't, you'll see someone getting warm in a hurry. Broken bat to Garcia. The barrel end of the bat almost went right to first base. Darren Johnson, the first base coach, picks it up.
He must have either gotten jammed or hit the ball on the end of the bat. Take a look here. Looks like he hit it right off the end and the bat just shattered. Of course, if you're a first baseman, you've got to dodge the bat and catch the ball at the same time.
And it took a tricky hop on Garcia. Did a good job to stay with it. Carney Lansford was 0 for 4 in last night's game. Second year in the big leagues for the 23-year-old Lansford. He hit .289 with 19 homers. Out of play. Giving Lansford a big hole in right center field.
Well, last night, Dick, was just the opposite. Blumberry was playing with Palmer pitching in right center. Now he's shifted over with Flanagan.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Flanagan, 6 feet tall and 195. He's 27. Full count to Lansford. Dan Ford on deck. Grounded sharply to Dower. 2 away. Now Flanagan gets Carew and Lansford on ground ball outs. Here's right fielder Dan Ford. Homered and an RBI double, his first 2 at bats last night against Palmer to give the Angels the early 2-0 lead.
It'll be interesting to see where Flanagan tries to pitch Ford, because Palmer was keeping the ball away from him and Ford hit the ball well. I wouldn't be surprised to see Flanagan try to come in on him today.
Ford from Los Angeles, originally signed with the Oakland A's, went to Minnesota, and then acquired by the Angels by trade last year, replacing the late Lyman Bostock. Big slow curveball. Ford in conversation with plate umpire Dale Ford. The pitch was called a ball.
Well, Dick, the reason he's looking, Dempsey is talking to the umpire, and I believe he wanted the pitch.
Fouled into the glove of Dempsey, 1-1.
Ford wants to establish right away that Dempsey's not going to call this ball game.
He's getting those ribs loosened up, Dick. As you can see, he's had that injury to his rib cage, which he got just before the season ended, and he's having a little bit of trouble getting that loosened up.
He hasn't taken as much batting practice as he would like because it is bothering him. He feels he only has so many good swings. One ball, 1 strike, just underway in Baltimore. 2 outs, no one on. Angel first inning. 2-1. That appeared to be that changeup.
That's that changeup, and he'll throw a slow curve off it, and also the straight change.
3-1 to Ford. Major League's RBI leader, Don Baylor, waits his turn. Well, we're pleased you joined us, and if this game is like the others in the National and American League Series, We hope you have some extra beverage with it because we've been going overtime. Extra innings. 3 dramatic games so far. Long drive, left field. Lowenstein and Ford will touch them all. Dan Ford, first time up last night, homer to left center and repeats it first at bat today.
Baltimore appears not to know how to pitch Danny Ford. 3-2 curveball. I imagine that Flanagan didn't think he would ever be looking for that. But he jumped on it. This is not a bad pitch. But the way Ford stands up there, you can't pitch him down and in. He can just drop that bat right down on it. I think you have to go up and in. I think Flanagan was hoping for the element of surprise with that curveball, and Ford was just waiting for it.
Don Baylor wore the collar last night, 0 for 4. He felt he was just too eager. He couldn't wait to get up there and swing, and went after the first pitch 3 of the 4 times. Way out of play. Baylor, a tremendous season. Teammate Dan Ford knocked in 101, but Baylor led the major leagues with 139 RBIs.
Disco Dan is really rocking in this series.
That's his nickname, Disco Dan. Good changeup. 1-2 to Baylor. Baylor against left-handed pitching this year hit .307. 11 points above his overall average. 2-2. Jim Fregosi can breathe a little easier. His team's in front early. That's important, isn't it?
Very important.
Grounded, fair, foul. Started with a fair sign to Jim Evans, but he just kind of getting his balance before he waved it foul. Frank Robinson, the lieutenant of the Orioles, with Earl Weaver. Angels up, and Weaver's on his feet. We talked about that last night. Full count to Baylor.
Dick Flanagan's all over that plate right now. I mean, he's right on the plate. He's just missing. Just a little low, just a little outside.
3-2 pitch to Ford that Ford hit out. And now full count to Baylor. High to center field. Baylor just missed that one. Bumbry has the final out. The Angels take the early lead on Dan Ford's first inning home run. The Orioles come to bat against Dave Frost, trailing 1-0.
Chrysler announces the truck and van rebate countdown. Get a Plymouth Trail Duster, Dodge van, Ram Charger, or a full-size pickup and get a $400 check to go with it. But put it in gear. The countdown is on. Chrysler is giving dealers the biggest cash incentives in Chrysler's history. Big discounts they can pass on to you. But hurry, the countdown is on. Get a great deal and a $400 check. The countdown is on.
Antifreeze. You never think about it, or how it has to protect somebody beside you, or what could happen without antifreeze. Stranded in freezing weather and no help for miles. Don't trust your luck. Don't trust the weather. Take out old, weak antifreeze now and put your trust in Prestone too. More people trust Prestone than all other brands combined.
But I've been worried about you.
More people trust Prestone. And when you flush your cooling system, trust Prestone Super Flush.
As with last night's game, Danny Ford leads off with a home run in the first inning for the Angels, and he's playing right field again today. Rick Miller will be in center field, and the only change the Angels will make today is in left field. Bobby Clark, a rookie, just called up, only with about 50 at-bats in the major leagues. He will replace Larry Harlow and start in left field. At shortstop, Jimmy Anderson. Third base, Carney Lansford. Second base, Bobby Grich. And at first, Rod Carew. The catcher, once again, Brian Downing. The pitcher today for the Angels, Dave Frost, played basketball and baseball at Stanford University. Up briefly with the White Sox in 1977. Split the season last year with the Angels in Salt Lake City. He's a strong man, a big strong man, throws a fastball, slider, and a forkball.
Frost on the year, 16-10. Just to give you an idea how good 16 wins happened to be in 1979, the top total wins for a right-hander in the American League was 17. Several shared it, including Sparky Anderson's Jack Morris, but 17 is the most any right-hander could win this year, so Frost was right there. He was their money pitcher throughout the season. Whenever Fregosi needed a win, Frost was the man who came in and gave it to him, and such is the situation today. Big guy, 6'6" and 235. Frost is 26 years of age. Down the stretch, he was tough. He won 9 and lost 5 after the All-Star game with a 2.87 ERA. And he also was the Angels' best pitcher on the road, winning 9 and losing 5 away from home. His teammates give him an early 1-0 lead. Now, you've gone through it many times, Sparky, and every time Frost pitched, it reminds me of a scene 2 years ago. The Angels were closing out spring training in Yuma, Arizona. Dave Garcia was the manager then, and he had to make a tough decision as to that final cut. We saw Dave Frost just as he got the news that he was being sent back to Salt Lake City because the Angels were going to take a gamble on a young player and keep someone named Carney Lansford. Lansford stayed. Frost then got his chance later, and Lansford's helped him to win some big ball games with his bat.
It sure has, Dick, but you know, it's a funny thing. When you are good, you will always make it, and Frost has proved that he was good.
Al Bunbury, 0 for 4 last night, the happy man for the Orioles. What a smile. He lights up the dugout when he shows those ivories.
Dick, he reminds me so much of Donnie Buford, who used to lead off for the championship Baltimore clubs in the late 60s, early 70s. Same kind of happy attitude, short guy, fast.
I'm sure Donnie's watching out in the San Fernando Valley just after lunch out there in the west. Starts with a slider. Bunbury, the 1973 American League Rookie of the Year. Hit 285 this year. Oh, what a stop by Lansford. They don't get him, but what a play. Lansford saved a double.
He saved a double. He's made diving stops like this all year long and thrown guys out from the ground. Now, in this case, he's got to dive so far and so much away from his throw that it's awfully tough to reverse that momentum and get back up and throw him out.
Well, Bunbury runs well, too. He might have thrown out some other men in the lineup, Sparky.
Well, Bunbury runs well, Dick, but also he's leaving the plate when he hits. He's on the move when he hits, and that's the reason Connie couldn't get him.
I've seen Carney throw a lot of guys out with that same dive many, many times, especially diving to his left.
But the Bunbury, the leadoff man, is aboard, and here's Kiko Garcia, his first at bat in the series. Hit 247 on the year. Bunbury, the top base stealer for the Orioles, so Frost keeping an eye on him. Al stole 37 this year. Next best for Baltimore was Lowenstein with 16. Ball 1. Garcia, one of the many Californians on the Baltimore team. Born in Martinez, California, now lives in the San Francisco area, Walnut Creek.
Garcia is not as good a glove man as Mark Belanger, but incredibly, even though Garcia did not hit for that high an average this year, 247, he still out-hit Belanger by 80 points. Belanger only hit 167.
And if the Orioles go ahead in the late innings, we'll see the Gold Glove of Belanger in action. There he goes. Not in time as Anderson unable to get the ball down on Bunbury. Good throw by Downing.
Good throw and a great slide, Dick. Bunbury doesn't sacrifice any time at all. He goes straight into the bag. In fact, some players can hurt themselves doing this. He slides very late, but he does that to get in there quickly.
Tag was a little high, Sparky.
Well, it was a little high, Dick, but watch Downing. He's a little slow unloading the ball. He caught the ball and then straightened up and threw. He didn't go meet the ball. There's the play where Bench was so great. John would go out and get the ball on the way. He stood there and caught the ball.
And the count now goes 3-0 to Garcia. Another tying run for the Orioles at second base. Infield hit, and then Bumbry with a steal. No one out. Harry Coyle, our director, Mike Weissman, our producer. They've got cameras at every angle. And the Orioles now will bring up Ken Singleton, their top batter, with no one out and 2 men on.
Dick, here's where Jimmy Fergosi's worried for one reason. He scored already in the first inning again. If Baltimore comes back right now and has a big inning on him, it's going to be real rough for the Angels.
Singleton 0 for 3 last night. Finished the season at .295, 35 homers, 111 RBIs. That's 5 in a row missed by Frost. Rick Dempsey, the catcher. Earl Weaver, the skipper, in the third base dugout of the Orioles. Infield playing for 2. There's a strike. Anderson and Gritch up the middle, squeezed toward the bag, looking for 2. Lansford well off the line at third, and Carew deep at first. One ball, 2 strikes to Singleton. Bumbry at second, Garcia at first, no one out. Last of the first inning in Baltimore. The Angels lead 1-0. Might be 2. Anderson, Gritch to Carew, double play. Pitcher's best friend checks in Baltimore for Dave Frost.
What a pitch he made, Dick. Look at the location of this pitch. It was low and outside, just inviting the double play. And the pitcher really set this up with that pitch. Now he'll run this ball down and away. You can see the catcher moving out there. That ball is almost impossible to hit in the air.
I'll tell you what, Dick, Fergosi's really breathing now a lot easier, because now it looks like they can't have that big inning on him, and he's feeling a lot better over there right now.
But a tough hombre at the plate for the Orioles. Eddie Murray walked a couple of times last night and struck out twice. Switch hitting first baseman. A baby for the Orioles at 23, but already has produced 77 homers in 3 years. Frost not afraid to come inside to the hitter. Dave has had, did you see him stretching? Bumbry at third, 2 out. Some back problems throughout his athletic career. Base hit. Bumbry scores, and the game is tied at 1.
If you just can't get the ball out away from Murray, if you get the ball out away where he can extend his arms, he'll hit the ball hard almost every time.
The Orioles come right back just as they did last night. And here's John Lowenstein and a standing ovation in Baltimore. That pinch hit home run, the first in American League playoff history. Frost wants a new baseball. We were talking last night, riding back to the Cross Keys Hotel in Baltimore, Wes and Sparky and I, and talking about every man, every woman in their lifetime should have one moment like John Lowenstein enjoyed last night.
Can't buy it. No amount of money in the world will buy that. Can you imagine after 7 years in Cleveland, 1 year with Texas, and never really did anything, never was going any place with the ball club, and suddenly to come to Baltimore this year and have this happen to him?
That's a dream come true. 2-0 to Lowenstein. 3-0.
That's why I say, Dick, you hear people talk about money. You couldn't give him enough money to take that thrill away.
I said, did you hear from anyone? Any telegrams? He said, did I? You want to go look in my locker? I can't even get in there. He's an interesting guy. I say that with quotation marks. 3-1. I asked him about his room. He said, I room with Don Stanhouse. He said, is that a pair to draw to? He says, we don't even relate. I said, well, you must talk to each other now and then. He said, no, we meet every morning at 2 o'clock and we watch FBI stories.
And that's why Earl came up with the full pack with Stanhouse.
3-1. Murray might be going. No. Out of play. And again, the irony of this game. He said, I have never hit a home run down the left field line. I've hit a couple to left center, but that was his 50th major league home run. He said, I've never hit one down there.
I think he said the last time he'd ever hit one to that spot was back in Little League baseball.
That's right. 3-2, so Murray will be off. Carew plays behind it. Just missed inside. Frost thought he had him struck out. 2 on, 2 up. The Orioles are still at it. And here comes Jim Fregosi out to talk to Frost.
I would imagine Jim just wants to settle him down a little bit here, Dick, because he's not throwing badly. He's got good velocity on the ball. It's just a matter of not getting riled up by this crowd and what's happened so far, taking a little bit more time and really concentrating on his spots.
Frost is like Flanagan. They're both control pitchers. They shouldn't walk many if they're on their game, but Frost has lost 2 already in this first inning. Is waiting for plate umpire Ford to come out so that he might be able to talk to Frost and say to Ford, hey, you're pinching my man. Looks like he's hitting the corners and you're calling a ball.
Exactly, Dick. He's out there for one reason. He wanted Ford to come out, and he's going to straighten things out right away for the rest of the ball game. He feels if he really lowers the boom on Ford here, he's going to start getting that corner pitch.
Meanwhile, Earl Weaver, he knows the game. He's been there. And we're likely to see him before the day's out. Looking at the pictures of that one close call last night, Weaver was right. His runner was safe. Murray at second. Lowenstein at first. 2 out. Tied at 1. Pat Kelly, 1 for 3 last night, the batter. Kelly's now 35 years of age. Philadelphia. Brother of the great running back Leroy Kelly. Frost in the hole, falls behind Kelly. A rocky start for the big right-hander. You'd think Kelly could sit on the fastball here. We'll see what he gets. On the outside corner, a fastball tailing away. 2-1.
That's something I've noticed about Frost today. He's got that fastball really running down and away from those left-hand hitters.
Well, you think back, that pitch got Singleton on a double play ball, or the Orioles would really be celebrating now. Another base hit. Murray scores. Lowenstein holds at second. 2-1 Baltimore.
You know, Dick, if Fregosi has to go to his bullpen early here, it's going to really hurt him. If Frost don't get him at least 6 innings, he's going to be in deep trouble.
Mark Clear, rookie right-hander, is throwing in the Angel bullpen as Pat Kelly, the veteran, drives in the go-ahead run for Baltimore, bottom of the first inning.
He hit a pretty good pitch, too. I'm really impressed by Kelly, what I've seen of him. He's a smart hitter, Sparky. You know, he went right with that ball out there.
The rookie Clear, a year ago, was in Class A ball. Made the big jump and certainly won many big ball games for the Angels. Most of his efforts, good outings, were early this year. The batter is Doug DeCinces, the 7th man to come up for the Orioles in a long first inning for Dave Frost. Infield hit by Bumbry. Garcia walked. Singleton hit into the double play. Murray lined a single to center to drive in a run. Then Lowenstein walked. An RBI single. And a high fly into the crowd. And that had Sparky leaning back. You thought he had the kind of swing that might have been 3 runs.
Well, I know Doug well, and right now he's had a little trouble with his back, and the ball from the middle in and up, he cranks that ball on you, and right away when I seen the pitch, I said, uh-oh, this could be 3 quick runs.
DeCinces 1 for 3. It was his leadoff single in the bottom of the 10th last night that set the stage for Mr. Lowenstein's heroics. On the outside corner, that's where you want that crossfire. You don't want to bring that one inside.
DeCinces might have missed his pitch because Sparky's right. The one before was the old hanging curveball, and he fouled that one back, and now Frost comes right back and crossfires him on the outside corner. He may have had his chance.
2 on, 2 out, 2 in for Baltimore. Bottom of the first. One and 2.
You know, Dick, Frost is throwing so well. This is as good a stuff as I've seen him have. We faced him twice this year. His ball is so alive today.
It is. He's throwing hard, Sparky. When he gets more up on top, the fastball straightens out, but when he throws more from the side, it'll run away or into a right-handed hitter.
Looper, base hit. Lowenstein scores. Throw gets away. Now the Angels throwing it around the park. It's 4-1 Baltimore. Oh my. Scores on the looping single by DeCinces. The 4th comes in on the first error of the game. I presume it'll go to Dan Ford in right field.
It's almost hard to explain because Frost is throwing well. He jams DeCinces, who loops the ball into right. And now this throw right here is way offline. You see, Carney Lansford had to leave the bag to get it. The shortstop was in for a play at the plate. There was simply no cutoff man there, and that allowed another run to score.
They've not posted an error against Ford, but one should go up on the board on that play. It's 4-1 Baltimore. Dower to Lansford, and a long inning comes to an end for the Angels, but the Oriole fans are on their feet to celebrate. 4 runs, 4 hits, 1 error, 1 left. 4-1 Baltimore.
You don't move mountains, you go through them. And all you need to carve a tunnel out of a mile of hard rock is to be a little tougher than a mountain. And that takes steel and sweat and dynamite. Now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. When it's time to relax, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Miller beer.
You know B.F. Goodrich has the best-selling line of high-performance radio? Sure do. You know they're the most dependable radios Goodrich ever made?
Sure do.
Look at there, the Goodrich Flint.
Hey, Goodrich doesn't have a lamp. I think he knew that.
We're the other guys. B.F. Goodrich, the leader in high-performance radios.
Tonight, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy.
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
A tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
Baltimore 4, California 1. Top of the second inning. Brian Downing, Bob Gritch, and Bob Clark for the Angels. And now all they have to do is come from 3 down against the top winner in baseball, Mike Flanagan. Downing 0 for 4 last night. Top Angel hitter against lefties this year, .386.
Positive note, Dick, is that at least they have 8 innings left to get back in this ball game, and if they don't panic and try and get them all at once, take their time, just pick away, get one here and one there, they can get back in the game. Frost is still throwing well, and he could hold them to 4.
Broken bat ground ball to Garcia. One away. Flanagan right in on the knuckles of Downing.
Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 4.
Bobby Gritch 1 for 3, an RBI double last night. Appears that Flanagan with a 3-run lead has just moved that fastball up about 4 miles an hour.
You're not kidding, Dick. He knows now he's got 3 runs to work with. He's going to challenge him.
Deep drive, but foul into the facing of the third deck down the right field line.
You know, when Bobby Gritch goes to right field, he gets the best extension of his arms. He's really solid going out that way, and he has hit, I believe, most of his home runs to right field this year.
He has. Of his 30, 2/3 of them were to the opposite field. One and 2, and that had a little mustard on it.
You give a pitcher a 3-run lead this early in a championship ball game when he's a little tight to begin with, and now suddenly he's relaxed and he's going to start throwing harder. That's just what's happened.
Try to nibble outside. It's 2 and 2. Full count. Oh, he had Gritch out on his front foot, but couldn't bring it into the strike zone. Gritch has a good eye. He walks as much as any Angel. Right at Garcia. 2 away.
You know, Dick, we talk how good Belanger and Conception and people like that are. There's no question about it. But the one thing I don't want people to get misled. This kid Garcia is an outstanding fielder. We're just talking about Belanger and Conception because they're in a class of their own. But this young man is an outstanding fielder.
Bobby Clark, his first appearance in the series. The Angels in 1975 signed 3 men who are in the lineup today. Clark is one. Jimmy Anderson, the shortstop, another, and Carney Lansford. They all broke in as rookies together. Clark, not very tall, but well built. He's extremely strong for his size. But overmatched on his first appearance against Flanagan, who has his first strikeout. 1, 2, 3, the Angels go. Middle of the second in Baltimore, where the Orioles lead the Angels 4-1.
A Super Bowl Steeler is tough to beat. But against the Steeler, I can't compete.
When a Steeler gets hit, it's got the guts to bounce back.
You turkey.
Uniroyal presents the Steeler Radial. It's built tough with 2 steel belts, and it's tough to beat when you look at its price.
To get to this year's Super Bowl, I'll just surround myself with 4 tough Steelers.
The Uniroyal Steeler. You want a tough tire at a price that's fair? You want Uniroyal there.
You look at the TC3, you're looking at the engineering concepts of the future.
The TC3 was the engineer's car from the beginning.
If you want a car with advanced engineering, look into Plymouth TC3. Terrific gas mileage, lots of standard features, and proven front-wheel drive. But the thing that'll make you want it is the fun you have when you take it for a drive.
I'm not asking you to buy any car on faith. I'm asking you to compare.
Polaroid's One Step is the world's simplest camera. And watch what happens when I press the button. A free picture comes out and develops in minutes.
That's pretty. How come it's free?
Because Polaroid will send you a pack of film and a flash bar free just for buying this camera.
They're having a sale?
A limited offer, it sounds nicer.
They'll be sorry.
Why?
If you buy enough cameras, you'll never have to buy any film.
You figure it out.
Get the One Step.
The United Nations has proclaimed 1979 the International Year of the Child. NBC Sports proudly joins in the celebration, saluting the children of the world.
Last of the second, Memorial Stadium, Baltimore, where the Orioles lead 4-1. Rick Dempsey starts the inning. Excuse me, roller to Carew. And there's one away, and that's the kind of play that takes the hitter back to the dugout, and he wants to take it out on the water cooler. You don't even get a good swing.
You know, Dick, I like something Brian Downing did last inning. After that base hit by the census to right field and the ball being thrown all over, he looked right over the dugout and he told Fregosi, he's all right, he's all right. You know, that's so helpful when the catcher can tell you. That way, you can rely on your man. You know that he knows what kind of stuff the pitcher has.
Brian Downing wears glasses while he's playing, even with that mask. Bunbury. His infield hit started the go-round for the Orioles in the first inning. Frost has not been able to get his breaking ball over. The Orioles are going to keep looking fastball until he does. The scene shifts to the West Coast tomorrow night. Game 3, Frank Tanana, left-hander for the Angels. Dennis Martinez, right-hander, goes for Baltimore. 3-0. Fergosi's attitude all along, we'd like to split in Baltimore. If we don't, we've swept them before. Walks, the third walk from Frost, and that just isn't the way Dave Frost pitches when he's on his game. One out, and Garcia, who walked his first at bat, comes up.
Bunbury makes such a difference to this ball club. Last year he broke his ankle and was out almost the entire season, only stole 5 bases. This year he bounces back to steal 37, and he gets that whole offense moving. He's your typical good leadoff man that every ball club has to have to get that offense started.
Jim Fry, first base coach, helping Bunbury with his lead. And Carew trying to keep him close. Ball 1.
But Dave Frost right now, he's wasting a lot of good stuff, Dick. He's really popping that mitt, but he just can't hit his spots. He's having the same problem right now that Nolan Ryan was having towards the middle part of the game last night.
That was an interesting shot, wasn't it? Right through the legs of Frost. You could see Bunbury taking his lead at first base.
I have a strong feeling, Dick, that Bunbury's going to be running here. They're going to try to move this game early.
That's just a token toss by Frost.
pitch out, and he got a high slider.
Downing was calling for a pitch out, and the thing that's so great about that, that's what Joe Morgan used to do. Al was going, and he sensed it right away, and Morgan could do that better than any man I ever seen.
They put on the brakes and stayed close. 2-1 now. Now you figure the Angels won't pitch out 2-1, so let's see if Bunbury's out of his blocks. Yes. Foul tip. Downing did something clever. After he realized that he wasn't going to be able to throw out Bunbury, he kind of let the ball work in his glove and drop it, hoping the umpire called out a foul tip and forced Bunbury back to first base. That's quick thinking.
I think he did foul tip the ball, which means that Downing then has a hard time getting a good grasp of it. He just can't pull that ball out of his glove, so you're right. He drops it hoping for a foul tip call.
Instead, it's 2-2, and Bunbury has his second steal. 3-2.
You know, Dick, I wish they would have called it a foul tip, because I'd love to see Earl come out on that one. Oh, he would have given everything he had.
What a take of a team of horses to drag him away. 3-2, 1 out, Bunbury at second. Here comes Bunbury to score. It's 5-1 Baltimore, and everything's going the Orioles' way. They'll call it a base hit.
That looks like it's going to be all for Dave Frost as Jim Fregosi comes out of the dugout. You really have to give the Orioles hitters credit. They've all been going to the opposite field with the pitches. Nobody's trying to pull the ball. Frost with good stuff. They're all waiting back on him, just trying to drive that ball either up the middle or to the opposite field. That's just what Garcia does here. Nobody's over swinging on that Baltimore club, and everything they hit seems to find a hole.
That's a play that Gritch normally makes, but nevertheless the official scorer sees it as a hit, and it's 5-1 Baltimore. Jim Fregosi forced to go to a thin bullpen early in Baltimore. A break in the action, bottom of the second. Baltimore leads the Angels 5-1.
Hey, Sam. How come you're not playing?
Because I'm a girl, Daddy.
Oh, come on.
Come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and taste the Pepsi way. To taste your day, look at you. Show them what a girl can do.
You want a Pepsi, Sam?
Samantha.
Samantha.
Come on and have a Pepsi day.
This morning, our tour includes Greenwich Village.
Hey there. Guess who needed new formula Nitol last night? Guess who had trouble falling asleep? That's why there's Nitol. On those occasional nights when you have trouble, new formula Nitol can help make you drowsy so you can fall asleep. Come on, America. Stop yawning. Just look for the words new formula Nitol.
Can you name a life insurance company that gives you a discount just for being healthy? Guess. Allstate Life.
My Allstate agent already gives me a discount on auto and homeowners insurance. Now with their new Healthy American plan, he's giving me a discount on life insurance. Because I don't smoke and I pass the Healthy American physical.
What's that company again? Allstate Life. See your Allstate agent.
Get in good hands for life.
On Sports World, China's top female gymnasts challenge an international field in China Invitational Gymnastics, plus exciting first-round coverage of the Legends of Bowling, Saturday.
5-1, relief pitcher Mark Clear warming up, bottom of the second inning. Let's first pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where a partisan crowd of over 50,000 fans cheered the Orioles into a big early lead. Bottom of the second, 5-1 as Mark Clear takes over for starter Dave Frost.
This is WBAL-TV, Baltimore 11.
Ken Singleton, the hitter. 1 out. Kiko Garcia at first base. He goes, and it's fouled out of play. So Weaver wasting no time getting that runner in motion.
Well, Dick, it makes it awful tough on Downing here. If you watch Clear, he's real slow coming up. He's got a real big leg kick, and we ran on him all the time, and right away I thought that Earl's going to be sending his people. You can't have a leg kick this high. Your catcher's just dead.
Singleton grounded into a double play in the first inning. Good breaking ball. 0-2. Clear this year appeared in 52 games, won 11, and saved 14. 14 saves led the Angel pen. 1-2. Big kid, 6'4" and 200 pounds, just 23. Lives in Covina, California. Neighbor of Rich Dower in that community. 2-2.
Sparky, you're really right about being able to steal on him. I can see it even when he comes into his stretch. He's got that left shoulder pointed way open, and he has to close it back over before he can even deliver the ball.
So as soon as that left shoulder moves in, you can run.
The runner can key right off that left shoulder, the lead shoulder.
Ken Singleton joins the hit parade. Garcia to third. Runners at the corners for Baltimore.
You can almost start to appreciate now the kind of ball game that Nolan Ryan pitched last night. He held down a good hitting ball club.
Well, they're a good hitting club, Wes, but if you notice there, like 1 out, that was a hard hit ball to right field, but Earl's club is going to make you throw him out as long as he's ahead of you in the ball game. And that's the way you play this game.
Garcia, no hesitation. As soon as that ball was hit, he was going to go to third base. Eddie Murray lined a single to center to drive in a run in the first inning. That tied the game. Angels short live lead provided by Dan Ford, solo home run in the top of the first. It's 5-1, and the Orioles looking for more. There it goes. Way back. Murray. Home run. Up a single and a long home run. Batter's Lowenstein. Lowenstein walked and scored in the first inning. Well, the Orioles have thrown up a 4 in the first and posted another 4 in the second to lead 8-1.
Dick, you think that Baltimore club don't feel good right now with Flanagan out there in a 7-run lead?
They have the Angels and a vice. It should be reported, however, even though that lead seems insurmountable, that the Angels are the top scoring team in all of baseball. But they're going to have to do it against a man that doesn't give up many runs normally. Good pitch by Clear. That's the second out of the inning.
You know, Dick, I agree with you. They're the top scoring club in baseball, but Earl Weaver knows, too, that he's got Stewart and Stanhouse and Tippy Martinez and Stoddard, and Earl will never allow even Flanagan to get in a position where they have a big inning off him.
A solemn first base dugout. Kelly lined a single to left center to drive a first inning run. Seven hits for the Orioles. 1-1. 6 of the runs, 5 earned. Two and one to Kelly. Well, the party began shortly before midnight last night when Lowenstein hit the home run, but the celebration continues today.
The Angels are really going to have to hang in there. At this point, it is so easy to become discouraged, Dick, and you've got to fight that instinct. You have to just keep battling out there. Who knows, when they go home and play tomorrow with a different crowd, it could turn around for them.
He got him. So Clear strikes out Lowenstein, and then Kelly. The inning is over. But Eddie Murray, 3-run homer, puts the cap on a 4-run Baltimore second. And after 2, it's the Orioles 8, the Angels 1.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines.
Now, when you want her to bank, just move this nice and easy, and she'll come in just like a bird for you.
Gotcha, Dad.
Okay, let's take her up.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines, they go up and up into the big blue sky.
Some guys just can't get enough of flying.
Call me when you get there.
Even when they fly for a living. Call them dedicated, call them perfectionists. In the friendly skies, we call them Captain.
Okay, let's take her up.
Those magnificent men and their flying machines, they go up and up into the friendly skies. Fly the friendly skies.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge pickups go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. The biggest maximum payloads. More than Ford or Chevy. The most brute power with its most fuel-efficient V8. And with optional 3-speed automatic. The best mileage ratings, too. More than Ford or Chevy. Now,
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Top of the 3rd inning at Baltimore. The Orioles lead the Angels 8-1. Eddie Murray, first baseman, up twice in 2 innings, has a single and a home run and 4 RBIs. Rick Miller, Jim Anderson, then the top of the order, Rod Carew in the top of the 3rd. Miller 1 for 5 last night. And with that hit, now has hit safely in the last 12 games. Weak ground ball to Garcia. 1 away. 3 of the last 4 outs to the shortstop. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Jim Anderson hit well against the Orioles this year. And the season finished at 248 overall. All inside.
You give a pitcher of Mike Flanagan's caliber a lead like this, and he's just rearing back and blowing the ball through there now. He can challenge hitters. He can try to do different things, take chances. Boy, a pitcher loves to be in a spot like this.
1 and 2. Oh, that was wicked.
You know, Dick, I think there's one thing we're forgetting. George Bamberger started all this back 12, 14 years ago, and Ray Miller's just carried it right on with their pitching.
2 and 2. Bamberger then going on to Milwaukee a year ago. Manager of the year with the Brewers, had another great season this year, but the Orioles just buried everyone with their tremendous success. Foul ball, and the count remains 2 and 2 to Anderson. The Orioles won 102 ball games, more than any major league club, and they didn't play 3 games. They had 3 rainouts they didn't have to make up late in the year. Another Another chance for Garcia. Kiko Garcia just playing pepper out there at shortstop.
You know, Dick, it's really got to be tough when you have a guy like Belanger who can pick up everything, and then you have to play a poor guy like Garcia, and he just picks up everything.
He's already been involved in 5 assists in the first turn of the order. Carew, he started it by grounding to Garcia. The only Angel hit, a home run by Dan Ford to left field. Flanagan jumps in front, 0-1. 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes.
I say he's starting to get cute and try things. He dropped down to the side, tried to cross farm. He's going to have some fun with the game now.
Another ground ball. And another out. 3 ground ball outs. The Angels in order in the third after 2.5. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore cheering an 8-1 Oriole lead.
Antifreeze. You never think about it, or how it has to protect somebody beside you, or what could happen without antifreeze. Stranded in freezing weather and no help for miles. Don't trust your luck. Don't trust the weather. Take out old, weak antifreeze now and put your trust in Prestone too. More people trust Prestone than all other brands combined.
I've been worried about you.
More people trust Prestone. And when you flush your cooling system, trust Prestone Super Flush.
When you break horses for a living and you do it wrong, they can break you first. But when you do it right, you can turn a terrified animal into a horse a man can count on. And now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, if you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Action photography is easy with the Minolta XG1 35mm reflex.
Hi, I'm Christy Jenner. I just focus and touch this electronic button to give me great pictures automatically.
The XG loads easily, too. This signal shows me that the film is loaded properly, and the electronic self-timer lets us get into our own pictures. Minolta XG1, the automatic choice for action photography.
Tonight, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You with the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy.
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
A tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
There's a hero. Wild Bill Hagee. He's the leader of that Section 34 cheering section up in the right field corner that spells out the Orioles. Whether there isn't a cheerleader on any major college or university campus who wouldn't like to have his power over the fans, he can get 50,000 spelling out Orioles. Wild Bill Hagee. 8-1 Baltimore. Last of the third. Clear to DeCinces. DeCinces looped a single to right his first time up. Rocking chair at the moment with that 8-1 lead.
Dick Earl's going to do one thing right now, and he's already warned his club about it. It's 8-1, and he's not going to do anything to show them Angels up in any way. He doesn't want to wake anybody up right here.
Explain what you mean for the fans so they can fully understand what you mean, wake them up.
Well, you know, you got them beat 8-1. You got Flanagan out there. They have to be down. There's no question about it. But now if you start stealing or hit and run or hitting 3-0, you're going to wake them up. You're going to get them angry. And come tomorrow, look out.
DeCinces check swing. Foul ball, and the count remains 3-2.
I really think Baltimore's a much better ball club than anyone realized at all during this season, and they're starting to prove it. Reggie Jackson said in spring training, the one club I'm worried about is Baltimore because I don't know how good they are. And we are finding out now just how good Baltimore is. I think they're a very, very sound ball club.
I see Ray Miller with a walkie-talkie talking to the man with the radar gun behind home plate so they can communicate how fast a man is throwing, give the hitters a gauge before they even come to the plate. Weaver doesn't miss a trick. I mean, he has every corner covered.
You talked about them not having played 3 games this year. Well, they also clinched the pennant with about a week and a half left. They could have won 110 games probably.
3-2. And DeCinces walks. Leadoff man on for Baltimore. Rich Dower comes up.
Second baseman, Rich Dower.
What's a man thinking now when he's down 8-1 and there's only 1 game left if he loses this one?
Well, he's thinking, you know, we've got to regroup our forces, no question about it. He's really hoping that Baltimore would do something right now in a way to try to show his club up.
They need a shot in the arm, Sparky. There's no doubt about that. I think where they're going to get it probably is when they get back to Anaheim tomorrow and have those fans come out and start going crazy.
Oh, and they will. Runner goes. Pop foul back of the plate. Well, Sparky, he had him hit and running there. Now that's...
I'm a little afraid there, Dick. I'll be very honest with you. There's some people in that dugout right now, the Angel dugout, that are doing some screaming very quietly, but they're doing some screaming. Don't think they're not.
So the hit and run was on in an 8-1 ball game.
And I'll be honest, Dick, I don't think there was nothing on. I think that definitely Doug missed a sign somewhere because there's no way that they were running.
Rick Dempsey. He grounded to first his first time up on a check swing.
You got to remember, too, though, Sparky, it's only the bottom of the 3rd inning. And the Angels have some guys who can hit the ball out of the park. I mean, they can score runs.
Right. Nicky Shishido, the equipment manager, and Larry Sherry, the pitching coach, flanking Fregosi. Inside, 1-1 to Dempsey, the number 9 hitter in the Oriole lineup. 8-1 Baltimore after the Orioles down 2-0 last night. Went ahead 3-2. The Angels tied it in the 6th, and then John Lowenstein's pinch homer with 2 out in the 10th won it. A little low, ball 2. One out. DeCinces at first base. The catch. Now there's a base hit in Anaheim because the left field is deeper. Of course, the reward in Baltimore is you don't have to hit it too far for a home run to left.
Looked like he hit this ball off the end of the bat, and that's a tough play for an outfielder because you can't tell right away just how hard the ball is hit. It looks like a shot. Then you have to adjust when you see that it's not hit that well. Sometimes you can get tipped off by the sound of the bat contacting the ball. Clark makes a nice play.
He's a good young outfielder. 2 out to Bunbury. On twice, he scored twice. Infield hit and a walk. Ball 1.
Dick, here's where I like to try a little trick. You're losing 8-1, and you know you're in trouble with a guy like Brian. I like to take my first base and stick him all the way back to grass and say, run now, run.
So you'd even coax the opposing dugout to maybe try to get you upset.
I just want to show my club when they come in and say, now you're going to take this kind of stuff. I just like to move him right back there.
Rick Miller on to third goes to Sensei as Al Bunbury on 3 straight times in 3 innings. Hard to do better than that. First and third with 2 out, and Garcia the batter. Downing and clear with a conversation.
Shortstop, Kiko Garcia.
Garcia walked in the first, singled in a run, and scored himself in the second.
Here's another guy, too, who knows how to win, Dick. He played on 4 first-place teams in his first 6 minor league seasons. And you see that all through the Baltimore system. Guys who really know how to win.
High hop, and that'll go into center field for a base hit. 9-1 as the Sensei scores. Bumbry to third. Garcia has his second RBI. Like hitting a rock off the water the way that skipped out into center.
Well, this can so often happen when you start to get behind and it just kind of builds up momentum on you. That ball hits the mound and just shoots up over Gritch's head. I think it would have been through anyway. The Angels have really got to fight to keep their composure right now.
9-1. Ken Singleton, double play and a single. Over. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 left for Baltimore. 3 complete at Memorial Stadium. 9-1 Orioles, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station. At 6 and 11. The Angels come up down 9-1, top of the 4th inning. The only hit allowed by Mike Flanagan, a home run by Dan Ford. Ford will bat second after Lansford. Baylor in the hole. Ball 1. Lansford grounded to second his first time up. Another ground ball, another glove. 1 away. The Sensei throws out Lansford.
It's a good play. Maybe not a great play, but a good solid play by a third baseman moving to his left, and he gets down on this ball. Remember last night he had trouble bending down. Maybe he's got that back a little looser.
Right fielder. You know, it's a funny thing, Dick, about their infielders. You notice they're all low to the ground. All their infielders are down, their heads right on the ball. They're never bobbing that head up in the air. They stay right and play the game the way it's supposed to be in the dirt.
The Sensei, Garcia or Belanger at short, Dower at second, Murray at first. Outstanding defense behind great pitching. Dan Ford up the middle, and it's Garcia's turn. 2 away. Last night we asked Ken Singleton, the man he would vote for other than an Oriole for MVP, said Don Baylor. We then went to the Angels. Baylor, who's his MVP?
Well, there's about 5 guys in that category, but I think I would have to consider myself as one of the prime candidates for it.
Or if you couldn't vote for an Angel, who would you vote for?
I'd probably vote for George Brett because he had 85, 86 out of 200 and had a very consistent year.
How about Ken Singleton? Is he one of the 5?
He's one of the 5, along with Rice and Lynn.
Now Don Baylor sizing up the balloting that has already taken place but not announced as yet. The 36 home runs, 1 short of the all-time Angel record. Leon Wagner and Bobby Bonds hit 37.
I was so glad, Dick, to see Baylor have the kind of year he had this year. Last year he hit the ball so hard, had 99 RBIs. He wanted 100 so badly and just missed. But he's deserved it. He's a good ball player.
Another ground ball to Garcia. 1, 2, 3, and Flanagan mowing him down. That's 10 in a row for the left-hander of the Orioles. Middle of the 4th, Baltimore 9, Angels 1. Pat Satterone did a great job getting this field ready after rain in the football game. Pat has other pursuits. During the course of the year, he's got his own tomato patch right out there in the left field corner. End of the season, obviously, but you got here in July and August and a lot of big red ripe tomatoes. So what do they call those, beef eaters? Or
You got me, Dick. I'm a city boy.
You know, they have that tradition up in Minnesota in the Twin Cities. The Robertson clan, they grow the tomatoes, have a contest. Terry, 4 RBIs and 2 swings, but pops this one to Jim Anderson. 1 away. John Lowenstein. Certainly this series in future years will be remembered as that playoff where Lowenstein came off the bench to pinch hit a game-winning 3-run homer. Ooh, good rip. I tell you something about Lowenstein. He's really a character, and when he was in Cleveland, he formed what he called the Apathy Club. The Apathy Club, and he said it was for disinterest and non-concern of whether performance was positive or negative. Just be apathetic. Don't care about anything. And I said, well, how many members did you have? He said, oh, a couple million. I said, well, you still mean? He said, of course not. We're apathetic. We don't care. He's a beauty.
Well, they picked up some interest this year in Cleveland. I think they had one of their better years.
They did indeed. So Lowenstein strikes out. 2 gone. That is Clear's 3rd K. And with 2 out, Pat Kelly steps up. And Dave Garcia did a fine job and was rewarded with a new contract. And I know I've been studying very hard, as you gentlemen can attest, all my books on baseball because of the whole new development in San Diego. There's a chance for all of us. And we wish Jerry Coleman well, but we still can't understand how he ever said yes.
Well,
why would he want to do that to himself?
That is amazing. I can't wait to talk to Jerry about that one.
He's such a nice man. They must have gotten him at a weak moment.
He even said himself, Dick, at least I read in the newspapers, that when they came to him, he said, I was shocked that they would offer me the job. And Dave Winfield, when he went in to meet the new manager, he shook hands with the wrong man. That's how surprised he was.
Kelly flies at the left center. Rick Miller puts it away, and for the first time today, the Orioles are out 1-2-3. After 4, it's 9-1 Baltimore. Coming up for the Angels in the 5th inning, Brian Downing, Bob Gritch, and Bobby Clark. And Sparky Anderson, Dick Enberg in Baltimore, 9-1 Orioles. Now let me get it straight. This is we bunt, hit and run to the face. I want to get all this down now.
Right now, Dick, I got to give you the signs so you'll have them, so you and Jerry will be together.
It can't be that tough managing, huh? Is this tougher?
You know what the easiest thing about managing it, let's face it, get the best talent and let them play. And don't be no genius. You know, Dick Bench used to say to me, I'd cross my legs, and he said, keep them out of the aisle. He said, if you hurt one of us, we're in trouble. Just stay back out of the way, and we'll take care of everything. He was right.
I loved his line, Wes Parker. Don't be no genius. That says it all. Brian Downing, foul ball. No play. It's a foul ball. So the Orioles make their mistakes on the don't counters. That one didn't count.
It's interesting because Weaver, before the game, he was absolutely surrounded by reporters and holding court, as Leo DeRocher used to do, and so many of the popular managers will do. And he was saying, baseball, fellas, is an easy game. And everybody keeps looking at him. Why is it an easy game? He says you just execute. You get guys that can pitch, you get guys that can hit home runs and put their names on the lineup card. Of course, it's not that easy, but to Earl Weaver, it has been easy this year.
Yeah, he's a genius at the game. He knows it inside out, and it's a great chess game, and he always seems to have the right move in order and well planned.
Well, Dick, I'll tell you how bad I'm going. I got a bee chasing me all over up here.
There are a lot of bees around Baltimore here in early October, and I think that one's infatuated with you, Skip.
Maybe I taste sweet.
I doubt that. Rip foul. Downing leading off the Angel 5th inning. He grounded to short his first time up. I tell you, these young girls down in the corners, they can handle the glove rather well. Pretty, too.
You know, Wes, what you were saying about Earl, you know, saying the game's easy. It is easy for all you guys that can play. I found it real hard because when you hit 190, it's a tough game. Carew and Parker and all those guys, they think it's a lot of fun. Bench and Morgan and Conception and people like that, George Foster, they think this is the greatest game in the world.
Sparky, don't put me in that category. I never thought baseball was an easy game, ever.
Well, they say you round bat and a round ball and hit it squarely. the hitting surface and the kind of pitches that, for example, Flanagan's throwing up there from that short a distance, it's a wonder anyone hits 300. Count goes full to Brian Downing.
I think, too, what Weaver was saying, Dick, is simply this, that if you execute, if you do all of the things in baseball that you're supposed to do, you don't have to be great to do them, but just do the fundamental things. It's amazing how far you can go with that. He's proving it.
Little fly ball to left field. Lowenstein with a beat on it, and there's one away. 11 in a row, retired by Mike Flanagan. Bill Rigney, who was the Angels' first manager, and the Angels, by the way, 19 years ago, the very first game they ever played in the American League was right here in this ballpark, and Ted Kluszewski had a couple of home runs, and the Angels beat Baltimore. Everyone forgets. I think they then lost the next 10 in a row, but the owner, Gene Autry, still calls that his biggest thrill in baseball. Bill Rigney was the manager, and Bill Rigney, when he talked with Jim Fregosi, when Fregosi got the job, said, "I'll only give you one piece of advice. Just know what your players can't do. Don't ask them to do something they can't do." High fly, Bunbury, fairly deep center, 2 away. Could you expand on that, Sparky?
Well, what he's really telling, and Bill knows, if a player can't do something and you're going to force him to do it, all you're going to do is hurt yourself. In other words, you have a man like Lee May up, a man on second, nobody out. Lee May trying to go to right field will have 2 foul balls up in the stands. Now he's setting 0-2. So a fella like Lee May, your big, strong people like Johnny Bench, Willie Stargell, people like that, you let them just swing away natural. I always say this, the little men take, the big men hack.
The little men take, the big men hack. Well, you're going to see some big men tomorrow here on NBC as the National League Series resumes. Three Rivers Stadium, the Pirates have a 2-0 lead over Cincinnati. That'll be at 3 o'clock Eastern time, followed by Game 3 of the American League Championship from Anaheim tomorrow night, 8:30 Eastern time. Boy, Flanagan has 2 strikeouts, getting Clark both times easily. He has retired 13 in a row. Halfway mark in this one. Coming up for the Orioles, DeCinces, Dower, and Dempsey in the 5th.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
How you holding up? I'm all right. You want to go for 10 miles? If we make it, I'll buy you a beer. If we make it, I'll buy you a Lowenbrow.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
The world won't stop when you want to photograph it, but the Olympus OM10 can stop the world. The OM10 is fully automatic. This Olympus tells you when you can shoot and when you can't. You change lenses in seconds with the OM10. Or put on a winder and lock in the action at 3 frames per second. The Olympus OM10 even has a self-timer, so you can get in the action instead of just watching it. With Olympus OM10, great shots automatically.
Tonight, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You with the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life.
I invite you to join us on NBC Sports World on Saturday, 3 to 4 o'clock Pacific time, 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll have the legends of bowling from Irving, Texas, the greatest names in the history of that sport, competing for $30,000 first prize money. Also from Jinan, mainland China. Invitational gymnastics. Some of the top gymnasts from Romania, China, Canada, France, and Greece, and the United States. That's Saturday, NBC Sports World. Last of the 5th inning. The Orioles, with a combination of outstanding pitching from Mike Flanagan, their Cy Young candidate, and 9 runs on 9 hits, lead the Angels 9-1. DeCinces, Dower, and Dempsey, the lower third of the order, against reliever Mark Clear. Out of play. What is the toughest part of managing as you look over your career, Sparky? What consistently is the biggest problem that a manager faces? Is it discipline? Is it handling pitchers?
Dick, I'll be truthful. I think the biggest problem is your pitchers. I think there's where you just can't make mistakes in your pitching staff. As long as you don't make mistakes there, and you've got a good ball club on the field, leave them alone, basically. Let them swing the bat. Let them do their thing, as the young kid said. You know, let us do our thing. Well, in baseball, I think Wes was saying the same thing. Let them do their thing. But your pitching staff, you must know where you're at all times with them, and know the other team's personnel. Know them as well when you're playing them as you know your own.
Clear now has retired 5 in a row, getting to Sensei on that ground ball to short. Dower 0 for 2. You think about it, but I'd like to ask you who you think is the best manager in that regard, handling his pitchers and knowing the other team. Not necessarily active today, but going back to your youth or your playing days.
Well, you know, let's face it, there's a lot of good ones, but this guy here at Baltimore, you have to look at his minor league record. To me, the minor league record, Dick, means so much more than the major league record. Major league record, the best team and the best players overall are eventually going to win it. But your minor league record, Earl Weaver's, is unbelievable. It's just, it's almost incredible to think a man could manage a different team, a different classification each year, and have the records which he has. It's just unreal.
Everywhere Weaver took his leadership, his teams won. Whether it be in Knoxville or Fitzgerald, Dublin, Aberdeen, Fox Cities, Elmira, or Rochester on his way to Baltimore.
It's an old story. I think when his daddy sent him away from home, he said, son, go out and win, because that's all Earl knows what to do, and he's just done it year after year after year.
He's never had a club that finished under 500 except his first year. Never. That's in 21 years, I think.
Well, and then he only played 34 games, 10 and 24. Rookie league. 2-1 pitch. On the corner, 2-2 to Dempsey. 2 out. Clear has settled down, retiring the last 6 men that he has faced. We're in the last of the 5th inning in Baltimore. Even the noisy Oriole crowd has settled back with a 9-1 cushion. Soft liner to Anderson, and the inning is over. 1-2-3, the Orioles for the 2nd straight inning. The Angels come up in the 6th inning, trailing 9-1, and they'll be batting Rick Miller, Jim Anderson, and the leadoff man, Rod Carew.
Tons comes plowing into San Francisco Harbor. How do you keep it off a collision course? With a harbor traffic control system from Eaton.
And I recommend you proceed to south of Alcatraz inbound. Traffic out.
Roger, south of Alcatraz.
In harbors from Alaska to Suez and San Francisco, Eaton helps to bring the big ships home. Developing new technology to meet changing needs worldwide. That's how Eaton profits from change.
Wait till you see what they did to my car.
With the Cordoba, we went back to the drawing boards. We wanted to get the gas mileage up, but not at the expense of the styling.
Introducing the totally redesigned Chrysler Cordoba. All the luxury you expect is here. But so is gas mileage. You can have high style and good mileage. The new Cordoba proves it. I like what they've done to my car.
Hey, how was the monster that ate Tokyo?
It made me scared. It made me hungry.
That you're going for a burger?
Have you seen the price of burgers lately?
We're going to Kentucky Fried Chicken.
At the Colonel's, I know we always get fresh quality chicken.
Now, this is a good meal at a price that makes good sense. Right, son?
Right.
It's so nice, nice to feel. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Rick Miller leads off for the Angels. Rick Miller is the brother-in-law of Carlton Fisk, or is it the other way around?
No, he's my brother-in-law. This time. I'm in the playoffs, and he's sitting home this time, so, you know, it's got to go the other way. I'm the famous person now.
Rick Miller marrying Carlton Fisk's sister. I imagine there's some interesting discussions during the winter months between those two families. Miller 0 for 2 today. And when and Lowenstein squeezes it. It'll be 0 for 3. Mr. Mike Flanagan, ladies and gentlemen, has just retired his 14th straight batter. The only man to get a base hit. Ford's home run. That was on a 3-2 fastball in the first inning. And since then, nothing but outs, and they have been soft outs. No one's hit the ball hard on it.
Shortstop.
Anderson grounded to short. His only time up. Tomorrow night in Anaheim, Frank Tanana, the man who clinched the Angel division title with a win against Kansas City, 7-5, back from, oh, he was disabled a couple of months, 7-5 on the year against Dennis Martinez for the Orioles.
Boy, he is really throwing hard, Dick, and you watch his delivery. He takes all the strain off of his arm. He uses his body so well. He really throws that body through with the arm.
1-1 pitch. On the corner. He has not walked a man. Had a couple 3-2 counts in the first inning. Ford homered, and then Baylor flied out on a 3-2 pitch, but since then he's been ahead of every hitter. Hop up. Garcia at short. And there's 2 gone. Boy, this is a surgical presentation by Flanagan.
Well, people have got to be wondering why this guy didn't win 20 games last year. Well, he would have. He had 19 wins, and then he had an injury to his left ankle, which prevented him from really pitching effectively the whole second half of the year, where he probably would have won 23, 24 games.
Line down the left field line. Fair ball into the tomato patch for a double.
You know, somebody ought to take McGregor out and give him a good old-fashioned licking for teaching this man the changeup. With all the good stuff he has, to have a changeup to him.
Really hasn't had to use it in this game, but you can imagine how much tougher he must be when you have to worry about that pitch as well.
Well, that was a good performance by Carew. He hit the chalk line. He just went right out there with that ball.
2-out double by Carew, his 4th hit in the series. Lansford fouls it away. He's grounded out twice.
You know, it's hard to hit 2, Dick, when you see your teammates going down 1-2-3, 1-2-3 every inning, and then you walk up there. It's tough to be different, to walk up there and stroke a base hit.
It's that old momentum again. So the string of outs ends at 15 for Flanagan. Foul ball, and it's 0-2 to Lansford. Now with a man in scoring position, Flanagan giving Lansford a little more than just that fastball.
That's the old thing called pride. He doesn't want any run scoring here.
Carew at second, 2 out. Didn't miss by much.
Oh, and I love to choke McGregor for this.
Your club's going to have to face Flanagan with that changeup to complement all his other good stuff and control.
You'll see Carney Lansford open and close that top hand to try and keep it loose. Most hitters don't like to grip the bat too tightly with that top hand, and Carney does that to remind himself not to grip it tightly.
Out of play. To 1 Baltimore. We're in the 6th inning. Mike Flanagan has allowed only 2 hits. Ford's home run in the first and Carew's double with 2 out here in the 6th. 2-2. From the left field corner. You see a different game. One of the charms of baseball, if you ever have the luxury of wandering around a stadium inside 3-2, is that as you move around, the game becomes almost a different visual experience. It's a different game from out in that left field corner than it is behind home plate or low in a box seat. Or now and then I'll wander out when I've been broadcasting a couple innings, just take a walk. That's going to fall for a base hit, and Carew will score. Lansford's first hit makes it 9-2 Baltimore. Not much to cheer about in the Angel dugout. They need a lot more. But Carew has checked in on Lansford's 2-out single, and that'll bring up Danny Ford. Ford, 2 home runs and an RBI double in his 6 at-bats in this series. Everyone has their superstitions. One of Ford's will walk all the way around that outer circle around home plate, then come in on the third base side for entering the batter's box. Did you have any superstitions?
I really didn't, Dick. I just didn't like to step on the foul lines going on and off the field, but other than that, I don't think so.
I guess that's about the most common superstition. Drilled foul down the right field line.
I think the one thing every hitter will do, and it's not superstitious, but your good hitters, when they walk into the box, they'll always set up the same way. It's just like Jack Nicklaus before he's going to hit a shot. He'll go through the same routine every time. Well, a good hitter will do the same thing. Ford more or less does that. You see him standing there now. He'll reach in with that right foot, plant that first, then settle into his stance, take a couple of little twirls with the bat, and check out the pitcher. And he'll do that same thing almost every time.
Flanagan has an excellent move to first base. That was just a half-hearted attempt, and he still had Lansford frozen over there at first.
He's got an excellent move, and then McGregor's got one that just tops it.
Good breaking ball, 0-2.
Now that's the same pitch that Ford hit for the home run, but about 6 inches further inside on the corner instead of down the middle.
9 runs, 9 hits for Baltimore, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Angels, 2 outs. We're in the 6th inning in Baltimore, game 2. Check swing. Tough play for DeCinces, but he gets him. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left. Middle of the 6th in Baltimore. The Orioles still lead by 7.
Don't wait for someday. Geritol is for now.
We don't wait for tomorrow to take care of ourselves. We do it now.
One thing I do is take a Geritol tablet every morning to make sure I get enough iron and vitamins.
And we get good, healthy exercise by following the Keep Fit America program recommended by the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sports.
It's free, and it's in every specially marked package of Geritol.
Don't wait for someday. Geritol is for now.
Geritol, every day.
Hey, Rookie, you know B.F. Goodrich has the best-selling line of high-performance radios? Sure do. You know they're the most dependable radios Goodrich ever made? Sure do. Look at there, the Goodrich blend. Hey, Goodrich doesn't have a blimp. I think he knew that.
We're the other guys. B.F. Goodrich, the leader in high-performance radios.
Now try and forget. One of America's largest life insurance companies, Lincoln National Life. We're easy to remember.
Start your day with NFL 79, followed by regional coverage of exciting NFL action. Telecasts include the Steelers-Browns battle and the Bronco-Chargers clash Sunday.
San Diego team. Then at 4:30, Seattle at San Francisco. Check your local listings and join us for NFL Football Sunday. Mark Clear has retired the last 7 Orioles. Faces the leadoff man, Al Bumbry. We're talking about superstitions. Do you have any, Sparky?
The same thing Wes has. I'll never step on a foul line at no time. Never. Never.
Anything else?
No, I had a superstition hit not to get in the batter's box.
But they made you get in. The pitchers helped you in there.
That's a rule they have.
Deep at Anderson. Tough play, but he makes it. 8 straight now for Clear. Brings up Kiko Garcia. He's been on base 3 straight times with a walk and a pair of RBI singles.
Shortstop, Kiko Garcia.
I understand we've had some technical difficulties. Some of you folks watching on the West Coast, a break in audio and video. We apologize for any inconvenience. We understand we're having some difficulty with the telephone lines between New York and Los Angeles, and then the feed along the West Coast of the U.S. We hope you'll bear with us, and we're doing everything we can to make that correction. 1-1 to Garcia.
You know, Dick, I think we ought to mention that Dale Ford, the umpire behind the plate, he's just had an excellent game. This is one of the finer games you're going to see called.
Well, there's something. That's enough to get a headline. A manager complimenting an umpire.
Once in a great while.
2-1.
You're right, though, Sparky. He's called a super ball game, and they deserve that kind of credit because they only hear from the fans when they do something badly. When they do it well, they should get that compliment.
It's his first championship series, and he has done well.
Every once in a while, you'll see a pitcher after a game is over, a starting pitcher go over and compliment the umpire on the game that he's just called, and that means so much to an umpire. Boy, they just break out in a big smile when they hear that. They'll talk about it for days.
Losing pitcher ever do that?
If he does, he's quite a guy.
3-2 to Garcia.
I tell you, though, sitting here watching him today, when this game's over, I'll be truthful, he's going to prance around like a peacock because he knows. Umpire's no different from a player or anybody else. He knows when he's had a great day, and today he's had a super day so far. I'll probably jinx him.
Fouled away, 3-2. Boy, it's a tough job, and you have to feel for Frank Foley, who's been involved in a couple of controversial plays the last 2 years. The Reggie Jackson little loose hip, loose knee play in the World Series last year, and then the catch by Collins. But you could see we had to play it back and forth 8 times to see that Collins really did catch the ball. All 4. That ends the string of 8 Baltimore outs. Second walk allowed by Clear, and with 1 out, here's Ken Singleton. 1 for 3.
The thing that people forget about umpires, Dick, is that most of them, in fact, almost all of them are just ex-ball players. They're fellows who played in the minor leagues, in most cases never made it to the major leagues, but are just like ball players because they played the game, they know the game, and they love it, or they wouldn't be out there doing it.
Well, Wes, you better love it when you have to take the abuse from us managers from that dugout, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you were good at that, Spark.
No, I never got on no umpires. Umpires all love me.
Gets away. And on to second base goes Garcia on the wild pitch. A walk, a wild pitch, and the Orioles leading 9-2. Threatening to get back the one the Angels scored in the top half of the 6th inning. Was there a man through the years, you know, back in the old days, Bill Clem was considered the dean, and you hear all the stories about how he controlled a game, totally controlled it with complete respect. Was there one, say, post-war umpire or two comes to mind?
Wes would even know him better than me, but Al Barlick, believe me, when he was umpiring a ball game, you had total confidence in him at all times for this reason. If he ever did miss anything, which he didn't very, very seldom, you never had to worry that he would adjust that under any condition. If he would live with a mistake, but he would call a game probably as good as any man I've ever seen.
And had total control of that game.
On the corner, and it's 1-2 to Ken Singleton.
There's a man in the American League I never got to see that much, but I used to always kid him in spring training, Nestor Shylock. I used to say, Nestor, you're in the wrong league. That's when I was in the National League.
Shylock, great ball strike umpire, and he hustled. 2-2. You know, Ron Luciano almost was in this broadcast booth, Sparky.
Well,
How do you like him?
I like Ronnie very much. They were all kidding me. They said, boy, wait till next year what the pitches you'll get.
Just missed, and it's 3-2 to Singleton. That is a deviation, though, from the Al Barlick style of umpiring. Luciano, he has a lot lot of fun, animated, plays with the fans and with the ball players. Rich recovers in time to get Singleton.
You know, Dick, you could tell every disciple that came from Barley, Ed Vargo, Bruce Fromming, every umpire that umpired around Barley or ever with him, very much the same type of umpires. Strict during the ball game, but give you the best effort at all times. If you give them some lip, look out. You weren't going to be around too long.
Here's Eddie Murray. He's been the hitting star for the Orioles today. Back in the first inning when the Angels jumped in front 1-0 on Ford's home run, it was Murray's line single to center off starter Dave Frost that tied it. Then he had a 3-run homer off Clear in the second. 4 RBIs for Murray. He has a chance to make it 5 with Garcia at third, 2 out.
We keep talking about Eddie Murray possibly one day becoming a star. He may be already. He is so close, Dick, and with the playoffs, possibly the World Series, he'll get the recognition he hasn't had yet.
1-1.
The thing you really have to appreciate about Murray, he was the Rookie of the Year in 1977, had a fine year that year, and in 78 and this year 79, he's had better seasons every year than he had in 77 as the Rookie of the Year. That's quite a performance.
Only 23. Right at Carew. That ball 10 feet to the right. He has another run driven in. Orioles are gone in the 6th. No runs, no hits, a man left at third. We go to the 7th inning. The Orioles against Flanagan will be facing Don Baylor, Brian Downing, and Bobby Grich. 9-2 in Baltimore, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
On Primetime Sunday, the Pope in America. A look at his historic trip and some of the people whose lives he touched. Sunday on NBC.
At Pantry Pride, Promise Margarine made from sunflower oil, 1-pound quarters, 89 cents. At Pantry Pride's Harvest Festival of Savings.
City Olds has been around for a long time and offers the best in sales and service. Being a volume dealer, City Olds always offers the lowest prices and is a regular recipient of Oldsmobile Service Award. The #1 selling car in the country is the Olds Cutlass. It's mid-size, very fuel efficient, comfortable, and safe. For your Cutlass, come to City Olds, conveniently located on Route 40 West, just 2 miles inside of Beltway Exit 15 and only 10 minutes from downtown. City Olds, that's where we sell for less and service best.
Presenting our Kennyest shoes on feet, Kenny Kids. Just watch them in action, just see how they run. They can do a lot of things, they're in on the fun. Kenny Kids can turn it on, and Kenny Kids can take it. Kenny Kids are what you are when you come and explore at the Great American Shoe Store.
If you're a young person out of touch with your family back home, you call us, and we'll call them. No tricks, no bugs, no traps, no charge to anyone. Call us, won't you? Dial 1-800-231-6946. Operation Peace of Mind. Tic-tac-toe tonight at 7.
You're 7-year-old and you're away from home and you're having a great day. Reed Ryan, a 7-year-old son of Nolan Ryan. Don Baylor rifles a single to left field. His first hit of the series to lead off the Angels' 7th inning. Just a note on Nolan and Ruth Ryan's young boy, 7. He was hit by an automobile near his home, middle of the summer. Broke his leg. He removed his spleen and his kidney, and there were some very anxious moments in the Ryan household. And here he is, happy and healthy and well, and enjoying Daddy at work. Pitched very well last night. Look at that. He got a Boston Red Sox pennant.
Yeah, that's what I was noticing. Dick, it's so good to see him healthy. I've had many people ask me about him.
Ryan Downing hits it upstairs.
You know, Dick, before the game was really cute during batting practice. Young Reed was throwing ground balls to Baylor's young son, and he was coming up like an infielder and fired strikes to him.
Yeah, they're like every 7-year-old. They like to emulate the big leaguer, and they have their own dreams. 1-1 to Downing. The Angels trailed the Orioles 2, top of the 7th inning. Baylor with his leadoff hit, only the 4th Angel hit. There's another. See if Baylor goes to third. Yes, he will. Throw to second, and the Angels are at the corners as Baylor and Downing with solid singles to left field. And that'll bring up Gritch, and it will get up a pitcher in the Oriole bullpen. As you said, Sparky, Earl Weaver will waste no time having someone ready. That's Sammy Stewart watching, but it's the left-hander Tippy Martinez and the right-hander, the bigger, the two. There's Tim Stoddard, the former North Carolina State basketball star, and the little left-hander Tippy Martinez.
Dick Gritch has only had 1 hit in this series. To hit one.
Yeah, one swing, and it makes it a different game. 9-2.
He's been right on the ball both last night and tonight. He's had good cuts at it.
Down low, 1-1. Infield will gladly give up a run for a chance at a double play. Outside, 2-1. Rich an RBI double, a shot to left center field last night. 1 for 5 overall. Hit well, but too high to left center. Baylor tagging. Bumbry with a catch. It's 9-3 as Baylor scores. Second RBI for Gritch in the series. Holding at first, Downing.
You know, Dick, right now they're playing a game on that Oriole bench like all ball clubs do. That last 3 innings, you got 9 outs to go, and what they're playing is countdown. Earl don't care about that run. He says that's 8. We're playing outs from here on out. That's all they want. 8 more outs.
Yeah, it reminds me of Al McGuire in basketball. He always talks about milking the lead in the second half. Could be 2. 1 there. Not in time to double up Clark.
There's something I'd like to mention there, Dick. They're leading 9-3. Did you see their shortstop and second baseman here? They're both playing deep as if nobody is on for one reason. They want no ground balls going by on either side. They do not care about the double play. If the ball's hit good enough that they can make it, fine. If not, you'll see here. He's playing deep, Garcia. When he gets that ball, all he wants is 1 first. Dower, watch Dower. He doesn't try to rush the ball. Catches it, now to first. That's called make sure of 1, and they were screaming up in that dugout.
In other words, had this been a 1-run game, they would have been tighter towards second. That would have been a double play.
They'd have been tighter, been up shorter in the line, come up, and now Dower would have rushed that throw too when he caught that ball. Tried to turn it over quick. This way he made sure of the catch. Now he'll go to first no matter what. He's not going to drop that ball.
Yeah, you hear that cry all the way down. Play it that way in the big leagues as well. Miller up 0 for 2. 2-0 the count to Rick. Crowd of 50,000 in Baltimore. After 4 Oriole runs in the first and 4 more in the second, they've just sat back and enjoyed the beer and hot dog.
I didn't know this crowd could be this quiet. Not after last night. Boy, did they make some noise last night.
Ground ball sharply at Garcia. The force at second. The inning is over. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. Stretch half of the 7th inning at Baltimore. The Orioles will bring up Lowenstein, Kelly, and DeCinces.
Eddie Mack! It's so wonderful to make a child's dream come true. It's a moment of love, a joyous sensation. Ooh, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
Ram power. Dodge gives you Ram power.
Now Dodge vans go beyond tough. They're Ram tough. galvanized steel for critical area rust protection. More than Ford or Chevy. And with optional 3-speed automatic, the best V8 mileage ratings. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge fans. Engineered by Chrysler to go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Tonight, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy.
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
A tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
Stretch half of the 7th in Baltimore. They play John Denver's Country Boy. They don't play some of the more traditional take me out of the ball game numbers. The Orioles are happy. Even Wild Bill Aggie up there in right field. He's been quiet. We've been hoping to get him on one of his Orioles spellouts. I think old Wild Bill's into the bird seed today. I don't know.
They've really got the crowd turned on here. What they did was they went to a different radio station this year, Dick. It's a younger station. It appeals to younger people. They play more like disco music. And so they've got a younger crowd out here, consequently. They've really turned on to this ball club.
Lowenstein can't find the breaking ball as he leads off the Orioles 7th inning. Walked and scored in the first, struck out the last 2 times.
I think the turning point as far as the crowd reaction to the Orioles, even though they were leading most of the year, occurred against Sparky Anderson's Detroit Tigers when they came from behind and beat Detroit 3 straight games in the last inning.
Rod Carew can handle that position at first base very smoothly, as does Eddie Murray. Takes care of Lowenstein's well-hit one-hopper.
It's a nice play, Dick. Lowenstein hits the ball hard with topspin, and Carew made a good quick step the first time, getting off the mark. That's what's important there, and he was ready for it. He just made a super play. Good move.
Designated hitter. That replay showed that quick crossover step, and he's almost moving as the ball is hit.
You know, he would almost trade one of his bats for a batting title for a Gold Glove. He really wants one badly. He wants to be recognized as a complete ball player and a good fielder.
He's deceptive in the ground that he covers because he is so smooth in his actions, and Murray's the same. Pat Kelly has the count 2-0. He has an RBI single, struck out and flied out.
I think there are some better first basemen now than we've had for a number of years. Keith Hernandez with the Cardinals, to me, is the class of both leagues right now. But there are some better fielding first basemen.
Rich, a tough in between hop, 2 away. And as Sparky has been telling you young players watching, and I hope you're not skipping school, but if you are studying this game, the infielders, you can always come up on a ball, but it's tough to go down. Those are the ones that embarrass you. You saw Gritch again, getting his backside down low so that he could always come up with the hands.
The best way Dick Eichen is playing it, pretend like you're a gardener. Get down in the dirt, and that's where the game's played.
Doug DeCinces looped a single to right, knocked in a run, walked and scored, and grounded out. 1 for 2. Rick Miller, who has a Golden Glove last year, takes care of that one, and Claire works another easy inning. He settled down, pitched 4 strong innings. Due up for the Angels in the top of the 8th. Jim Anderson, or a pinch hitter. Then the top of the order, Rod Carew and Carney Lansford.
What pictures you could take if life would just stand still and wait for you to focus. But life doesn't wait.
You need the SX70 sonar, the world's smartest camera.
Sound waves whip the lens into precise focus. Now you can have perfect pictures every time in minutes. It's all automatic.
Polaroid's SX70 sonar. Because life doesn't wait for you to focus.
You know, trying to run a Major League Baseball club isn't all fun and games.
The pressure's always on. And for guys like us, there's no off-season.
So when you wheel and deal as much as we do, you can't afford to get filled up.
That's why we drink light beer from Miller. It's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer, and it tastes great, too.
How about the trade? How about throwing in Bud Harrelson?
Let's see, Bud Harrelson, Gates Brown, and Mudcat Grant.
Right, with 2 Blue Powells and a Ferris Payne.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I want a Frank Malzone.
Tonight, Buck Rogers lands on a 25th century Las Vegas.
You the welcome wagon?
To rescue a kidnapped woman. But the stakes skyrocket as Buck tries to save her life. Then on Quincy.
I've just been losing babies for weeks now.
A tropical paradise turns into a nightmare because all the children are dying and only Quincy can save them. Quincy, right after Buck Rogers.
Memorial Stadium today, Anaheim Stadium tomorrow night. The differences in the infields. What can we expect? Well, we went to the great Gold Glove expert, Brooks Robinson.
Stadium probably is the best infield in the major leagues, or in the American League anyway. I think in California you have an infield that's a lot faster. The ball gets through a lot faster, and you can play a couple steps deeper.
Yeah, we'll watch Doug DeCinces and Carney Lansford at the Big A tomorrow night. Brooks Robinson now a member of the broadcast team with the Orioles and involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Very actively involved. Merv Redmond pinch hitting for Jim Anderson. Sails one just out of the reach of Eddie Murray. I think Murray gave up a little on that one, and the natural curve of the ball as it was hit was bringing it back into the warning pad.
We'll have a look here. If you can, if you have the time, and in this case he probably didn't, but you want to get as close to those stands as you can. And you see the ball did land in playing territory, Dick, so he did have a shot at it. If he could have hustled down there a little quicker. That's a tough play, though, back over his head.
Redmond's glad he didn't. 1-1. Redmond, of course, grew up in the Oriole organization. Had some big years when first recalled. Outstanding football player at Ball State University. Redmond, checking his Oriole record, hit .318 in '71, .322 the year before. 2 pennant years for the Orioles. In there, 2-2. This is Merv's 12th major league season. 272 lifetime average. Primarily employed by Fregosi as a pinch hitter. Remains 2-2.
You know, Dick, when they showed that picture of Brooks Robinson in his street clothes, he's a nice person. I seen him in his uniform in 1970 in the World Series, and he did everything that a human being could do with a glove.
Vacuum cleaner. Well, the Hoover is what Lee May called it. 3-2. Brooks looking good.
He's looking good. He's a nice man there. I like him in that street clothes, but I didn't like him in that uniform.
Brooks, who does almost everything left-handed, and he always accounted the fact that even though he threw right and hit right, everyone thought he was right-handed. He said that's the only thing he did in life, right-handed. That gave that left hand, that glove hand. He felt responsible for some of those good plays as Redmond flirts with one down that left field line, hooks it foul. That one play he made into the coaching box in Cincinnati to throw out, was it May at first base?
Lee May.
Oh, my.
This is where you might see a home run, Dick, with a team having a big lead, a 3-2 count. You just don't want to walk anybody, so Mike will probably try and groove one.
All four, and that is the first walk allowed by Mike Flanagan. And he doesn't even want to look in the dugout. Earl Weaver, up he comes to the top step of the dugout. He walked the leadoff man with a 9-3 lead, and here comes number 4. Redmond leaves the game. Dick Thon, young infielder, will run for Redmond. Thon might stay in the game at shortstop.
He's probably saying something like, what's going on out here? Are you getting tired? Because if you are, I've got 3 or 4 guys down there in the bullpen who can come in here and shut this club out.
Mike Barlow, meanwhile, in the Angel bullpen getting loose. Mark Clear, since having problems early, has thrown 4 consecutive hitless innings. There's Don Stanhouse, last night's winner, roommate of John Lowenstein. The all-hair team. I think he'd be on that one, wouldn't he?
That surprises me to see him warming up, doesn't it, you, Sparky?
I'm a little surprised, Wes, to see him warming up here in the 8th inning because Sammy Stewart's done such a good job for him and Stoddard. But again, Earl knows that he's got to drive that nail in the coffin, and he's not going to take any chances at all.
Rod Carew, as Flanagan stays in to pitch to the left-handed batter. In there. Carew, 3 for 4 last night, and a double in 3 trips today. There's Stan, the pinch runner at first. 1-1. Fouls that one off the shin guard of Dempsey. 1-2 the count.
You know, Wes, for all kids to watch about with a man that hits with his hands, I don't think there's a better guy to watch than Carew. He uses those hands. He is so good.
Fantastic, and a fantastic top hand. He's so quick.
Could be 2. Oops. And everyone is safe. Dower backed it up. Murray commits the first Oriole error of the series.
You could see it coming. He got caught on an in-between hop. He thought the ball was coming up, and it stayed down on him. Now watch, he just gets caught in no man's land. That ball bounces in a spot where you don't want it. You either want to be closer or further away from that hop. And he just thought that ball was coming up on him and went right under his glove.
But the hustle of Dower right there.
Dower was right there, but again, that's what we're talking about for you kids out there. You've got to stay down, and Eddie didn't stay down. He came up at the last minute.
Dower backed him up 2-on, no one out, and Carney Lansford in a 9-3 Oriole lead. 8th inning, no one out. And the big guns coming up for the Angels, Lansford, Ford, and Baylor. Base hit, left center. Hahn scores. Carew motors to third. It's 9-4, and that may be all for Flanagan. Back-to-back singles by Lansford, his last 2 times at bat, driving in runs with each. And here comes the Bulldog.
This is just what the Angels need, Dick. Even if they don't come back and win this ball game, and we don't know yet about that, but even if they don't, they are going to start to establish some momentum and confidence in themselves for when they go back to Anaheim tomorrow.
Here's a team, the Angels, they averaged almost 5.5 runs every game they played this year, and even against the sterling performer, Mike Flanagan, they've got 4, and there's no one out, 2-on here in the 8th inning as Weaver goes to the bullpen. We'll be back at Memorial Stadium right after we pause for this word.
This is the Sony Betamax, and this is the competition. There's one major difference, the Beta tape loading system. It enables us to offer features like Betascan. It's like fast forward and reverse, but you can see what you're looking for and stop when you find it. The fact that the other tape loading system doesn't have Betascan doesn't mean it's a bad system. In fact, it's a very good one. And we should know, because before we invented our system, the Beta system, we invented theirs.
Do you know me? Playing football, sure. But my name comes up 0 in English rugby. So when I travel, I carry the American Express card. And even if I fumble and lose it, they'll give me another card fast. Usually the next business day. Lose the card and I'm protected. You can lose your life in there.
To apply for a card, look for this display wherever the card is welcomed.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Preceding announcement furnished by Major League Baseball, and how appropriate. Kyle Yastrzemski with that honor. 400 home runs, 3,000 base hits. Kyle Yastrzemski, part of the great story of this 1979 season. The Orioles lead has been cut to 9-4. 2 on and no one out as Don Stanhouse relieves Mike Flanagan, who gave up a home run to Ford in the first inning and then retired 15 in a row. Lost a little of his stuff in the late innings. And here comes Stanhouse, who was the winner last night in extra innings. And this has been typical of the Angels season. They've not had great pitching, but they're never out of it. They have come from behind to win more than 30 times this year.
They can score, and you remember that Yankees series about the middle of the season, Dick, when they came from behind in those last 2 games with 9th inning home runs, a couple of men out to win ball games. They can do it. I just think it's very interesting right here and shows a real insight into Weaver's character that he would bring in Stanhouse in this situation with a 5-run lead. But as Sparky says, he doesn't want to take any chances. He's got Sammy Stewart, Tim Stoddard, and Tippy Martinez in the bullpen, all of whom are excellent. And yet he brought in Stanhouse to nail this down.
Sparky, let's talk about the National League playoffs. Game 3. It'll be here on NBC, 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon Eastern Time. Pittsburgh goes home sitting on a 2-0 lead. Your former club, the Cincinnati Reds, really in a jam. What are your thoughts?
Well, Dick, they lost two real tough ball games. Let's face it, there's 2 ball games you could have won either way. They got a couple tough breaks on things, and they lost 2 tough ball games. But knowing those guys in that ball club, and I know that John McNamara in no way feels that he's out of that thing. He's going to go into Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh all year in Pittsburgh. And Chuck Tanner knows that they have got to drive the nail in the coffin of a real tough ball club.
Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek, Don Sutton will be there to bring you all the color and excitement from Three Rivers Stadium tomorrow at 3. Hope you'll join Wes and Sparky, yourself tomorrow night from Anaheim, California. Game 3 of the American League Series. That will be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock on the West. 8th inning, Baltimore, run home for the Angels. At third is Carew. At first base, Lansford. Dan Ford with 2 home runs in this series. At the plate for California, no one out. Stanhouse, first pitch. And he comes in with a wicked slider.
He is so deliberate, Dick. You notice how much time he takes in between pitches. He really gets his concentration and knows exactly what he wants to do before he delivers that ball.
And he also gives Earl a chance to fire up because, you know, old full pack out there gives Earl a chance between each pitch.
If you weren't with us last night, Weaver's nickname for Stanhouse is full pack because every time he comes in to pitch an inning, Weaver goes through a full pack.
I'll bet you that, Dick, on that he did go around because it's almost impossible on a swing to stop. Doug Harvey once told me he doesn't go by the batsman, he goes by the intent because almost every bat. You watch here, his bat's going to go by. It always does.
It always does on the replay.
Sure, watch it.
All right, let's see.
Look at here. It went past the plate.
Went past the plate.
But I agree with Doug Harvey. It's the intent of the swing.
Infield looking for a double play, no one out. And it's 2-1. First down in that Angel dugout. I imagine that Jim Fregosi would say, well, Mr. Stanhouse, maybe you'd like to walk a couple for us. And Weaver says, you won't have a chance to. He walks a couple and he's not going to be around. That bullpen is still busy for Baltimore. Martinez, a left-hander, and now Tim Stoddard, a right-hander, is picked up where Stanhouse.
Well, that would be almost too good to be true, Dick, to get walks in a situation like this. That's exactly what the Angels would want.
The count is 2-1.
Earl also is counting runners right now. It's 9-4. Carew on thirds, 9-5. First base, Lamford's 9-6, and the hitter hitting's 9-7, and he needs 6 outs. And that's the way he's positioning himself right now from his bullpen too.
It really is simple arithmetic, isn't it?
It's just a process of elimination.
3-1.
Boy, if we could see Weaver, I'll bet right now he's starting to agonize a little bit. He did not bring this man in to walk anybody.
I wonder if he's hiding. Stanhouse usually sends Weaver up the runway toward the clubhouse in a nervous pace. There he he's ready to go. He's the expectant father. That's the pose.
He doesn't even want to look. Look at that.
Just barely peeking around the corner.
Tell him, Frank, let me know. Let me look at him. Look at him.
There he's starting to go.
Let me know, Frank.
Stay with him in the corner. Can we watch him while this pitch is made? 3-1. We'll do it after the next pitch. He's barking out at Stanhouse. Line out in time for the double play. So the Angels hit in tough luck there as Ford hits one right at Dower.
Oh, Dick, you can't imagine what tough luck that is. A base hit right there could really break things open for him. Looks like Weaver's out of sight. I don't know if he saw that ball caught or not, but maybe at the crack of the bat he just ducked in there.
Let's see what Earl's reaction was to that line drive. Can't stand it, he says. I got to go down here and think this over.
He leaves poor Frank there to take the misery.
Robinson doing the play-by-play down in the dugout.
I wonder how good he is at it, Dick.
Probably like everything else, doggone good. Here's Baylor, single and 3 trips. Line to left, base hit. Lansford gambling a bit, goes to third, but has great speed and makes it. Lowenstein might have had a play in that one if he had charged it, elected to play it safely, and almost had to back up to get it on one hop.
Well, that's good running twice, good base running twice by Carney Lansford. He sees the outfielder Lowenstein back up and is able to get over to third, and he also did a good job when he was on first base, not getting doubled off on the line drive to second.
Here comes Lansford. Watch. As soon as he sees the ball and sees how deep and he's going away, he sees him going away from the play, he knows with his speed he can go into third.
Sure, he's moving away from his throw. That's almost impossible.
Now the Angels, playing first and third, have 2 runs home here in the 8th to cut the lead to 9-5. Boy, you take that line drive of Ford's and hike it up another foot, and the Angels would have some rally going here. Downing, 1 for 3. Baylor has his first RBI of the series. 1 out. High slider. Downing might be thinking, I'd like to have that one back.
They're taking advantage of a mistake, too, Dick. Don't forget, Eddie Murray booted that ground ball by Rod Carew. Up until now, it's been Baltimore taking advantage of Angel mistakes. Now it's turning around a little bit.
If Downing gets on, the tying run comes to the plate for Jim Fregosi.
That's what you want. Then you've got a chance, a real good chance.
Especially when you got a guy like Risch coming up who's had 28 home runs. 30 home runs this year. He's driving the ball. You know you've got at least a shot in the ball game. And that's all you're asking for when you've been down 9-1 and you can end up getting a shot to tie it. That's all you want.
You would think it's Fregosi in the lead and Weaver that was behind by their actions in the dugout. 1-1 pitch. Hit deep to left, but not deep enough. Lansford tags. It's 9-6 as he scores on Downing's sacrifice fly. First run driven in by Downing in this championship series. Baylor at first, 2 out. And Gritch the hitter, 9-6 the score.
I noticed Stanhouse a little mad at himself. He's made some mistakes this inning with his pitches and got the ball up, and he's mad. He wanted Dower to give him that ball. Give me the ball, he's yelling to Dower.
Well, you're right, Spark. He just got away with one. You know, Downing gets around a little bit quicker, gets that bat out in front. That ball's hit out of here.
Really, Wes, he's supposed to hit that ball out because it's right up there for him. He just waited a little long, and the ball might have moved in on him a little.
This could have been a big home run for Brian Downing. That ball kind of hung up there for him. He did not miss that by much. You're right. That pitch was just hanging there.
Himself.
Gritch up 9-6 Baltimore in the 8th inning. 2 out, Baylor at first base. Gritch a sacrifice fly, 0 for 2 today. At Dower, oh, he made sure he was in front of that one. He had his whole body wrapped around that ground ball. The inning comes to an end. The Angels score 3 times to cut the lead to 9-6. It'll be Dower Dempsey and Bunbury for the Orioles in the 8th.
The problem? Keeping the busy Red Lion Inn near Seattle smooth running and profitable. Working with the hotel, a Bell System team headed by Eileen Skidmore proposed this solution. An electronic communication system that speeds room status information to the front desk and to the housekeeper.
That's done.
Even automates wake-up calls. Result, the owners want new Bell systems for their 38 other hotels. Another case that shows the system is the solution.
Can you name a life insurance company that gives you a discount just for being healthy? Guess. Allstate Life.
My Allstate agent already gives me a discount on auto and homeowners insurance. Now with their new Healthy American plan, he's giving me a discount on life insurance. Because I don't smoke and I pass the Healthy American physical.
What's that company again? Allstate Life. See your Allstate agent.
Get in good hands for life.
Sheriff Lobo promised them the Texas Cowgirls. What they got was something else.
The Panhandle Pussycats.
And Orly has something to cheer about Tuesday on NBC. Wednesday, join the Man Watchers of America as they vote for their sexiest male. Then the centerfolds come to life at the Playmate reunion. Wow, on Real People.
There he is. Wild Bill Hagee. It's amazing the little things that captivate a crowd. He initiated the whole idea of a spell out by using body language. O-R-I-O. Well, that's the end. That's the tail end of it on the replay. Wild Bill Hagee, and he's got the crowd back with him. I love his ES. The ES is outstanding. We're going to get him to do NBC for us.
You know, Dick, we were here for the last series at home, and in the 7th inning on, he finally got Earl Weaver to do it. The people went completely out of their minds.
Weaver actually came out and did it?
Right at the top of the dugout, he did it and did it perfect. And I'll tell you what, my guy said, hey, Skip, is that right? I said, here, that's the winners tell jokes and the losers cry and say, please deal. I said, that's what it's all about, winning.
Bottom of the 8th inning in Baltimore, the Orioles 9-1 lead melted down to 9-6. And Don Ossie, number 46, is the new Angel pitcher. Ossie a starter most of the year, and with all the Angel injuries to the starting staff, he wore out. He was pitching every 4 days and got into August, and he really ran out of gas. So Fregosi put him in the bullpen, and he came up with a couple of very important saves. That is Dickie Thon at short. Don Ossie on the mound. 2-1 the count to Dower, who is 1 for 6 in the series. Carew with a chance. 1 away. There's a very interesting little tidbit involving the battery now for the Angels, and Ossie the pitcher and Downing the catcher. And who really knew about Anaheim 25 years ago? I guess Jack Benny and his Azusa Cucamonga Anaheim railroad call. But here are 2 kids playing in Anaheim who grew up in Anaheim. Ossie went to Savannah High School, and Downing went to Magnolia High School, and they now form the battery here in the championship series. Great bunt.
Never get him. No chance.
Rick Dempsey, a perfect bunt.
That's the kind of ball player Dempsey has been all year long. He's a scrapper. He'll try to do anything he can to beat a ball club. And he just catches Carney so far back, it doesn't matter that he doesn't catch this ball. He could have never thrown him out.
You know, here's a case where Baltimore, the lead was cut to 9-6. And I just think Carney, after the first man was out, Dick, he never even dreamed that Dempsey would bunt. But Baltimore's trying to get back and pick that 3 runs up that they just lost.
1 out. Dempsey at first base. Al Bunbury the batter. regardless of the outcome today, gentlemen, there's one very obvious note, and that is that the Angels' young manager, Jim Fregosi, has a club that can't get behind by too much. They came within one batter of having the tying run at the plate. He's mad.
He didn't like the call on the pitch before. It looked like a strike. Apparently the umpire thought it was too low, but it looked pretty good. But I'm not surprised, Dick. The Angels have a good ball club. They've suffered some tough injuries this year. They've kept bouncing back all season long. They're minus Rudy and Akins right now, but they're still bouncing back.
Bunbury bunt. Tough play, no play. Another bunt single. Dempsey and Bunbury back to back.
Well, I'll tell you, Dick, you've got to give Fregosi credit. Him and his staff this year have just done a tremendous job with that ball club. And Jimmy's showing them right now that we're not going to quit at no cost. And he's letting everybody know out there. And he's doing that for effect also for tomorrow, just in case for some reason they couldn't come back and win this ball game.
I think what they're showing, Sparky, is just that they can play any kind of game you want to play. You want to play long ball, Baltimore will do that. You want to play the bunt, the finesse game, they can do that. You want to go pitch a little bit, they can do that. And they can play the defense.
Kiko Garcia, 2 key singles today. Both drove in runs. They'll stand up and cheer the big home run hitters, the Dave Kingmans, the Gorman Thomases. But I still think to a man and woman, boy or girl, a fan will stand up and cheer the well-placed bunt almost as heartily. It's such a rarity to see it done well. Another bunt try, foul at the plate. 0-2 the count.
And the guy at first base, Rod Carew, if ever there was anybody that could bunt, that man can take a ball and drop it almost anywhere.
Yes, Major League managers voting on the best bunter in baseball. It was almost unanimous. Carew. He could bunt 300, they say.
He can do anything with that bat, Dick. It's amazing how he can take a ball. If it's a fast turf, he'll really deaden. If it's a slow turf, you'll watch him. He'll get the top hand and bunt it harder.
2 strikes on Garcia. Ossie with runners at first and second. Downing set up outside. That's where it was. 1-2. Dempsey and Bunbury aboard. Last of the 8th. 9-6 Baltimore. But the Orioles got their 9 in the first 3, and then the Angels started chipping away. 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th. Foul. And it remains 1-2. Earl Weaver. Even the winds are tough. What's he saying there?
What's that? 1, 2, 3. What I think he's telling him is he wants one more shot here. He's hoping he'll go to right field with him. He wants one more shot with Singleton hit.
Just missed. Tough to take that pitch, and that's what Fregosi is saying. How can you take that pitch with 2 strikes on you?
Well, a lot of times hitters aren't smart enough to take a pitch like that. They just get fooled. And if you do, you have to take the pitch and hope that the umpire calls it a ball.
There it is. Same pitch, strike 3.
Same pitch, about another 2 inches more towards that outside corner.
Jimmy's clapping for the umpire there. He's saying, thank you.
That's a sarcastic applause.
Yes, very sarcastic.
2 out, 2 on, and here's Ken Singleton. He's 1 for 4. Weaver may be thinking ahead to the top of the 9th. The Angels will have the lower portion of the batting order. Clark, Miller, and Thon scheduled.
Whatever, Dick, this is a big out right here for the Angels. They've got to get this guy.
Foul ball.
Now, he's throwing pretty hard. Kenny was way behind that pitch. It's a good fastball.
Ken Singleton, 1 for 7 in the series. The Orioles' most consistent hitter. 2 on, 2 out. ninth inning. On the corner, 0-2. Singleton, great eye. Bergosi would love to be able to say, oh, I've got Akins and Rudy down here with me ready to play, but they're ineligible. So going into the bottom third of his order, he's a little strapped for bench. In fact, he's playing with 24.
I tell you, Dick, all year, though, I remember early in the season when I was out at Anaheim, really from about the first month of the season on, Jimmy's had to do things. I told him one day out there, I said, Jimmy, I don't know how your stomach's feeling, but I'll tell you, it's tough what you have to do every day out here with all these injuries.
2 strikes on Singleton. Boy, those eyes of Bergosi, you can see how tough he might look when he wants to discipline a player. Almost got Singleton on that slider in at the knees. 1-2.
That's such a good waist pitch because that ball starts in there like it might be a fastball and then dips down. Singleton, you have to give him credit for laying off that pitch. That was just an excellent waist pitch.
Ossie acquired from the Boston Red Sox a couple of seasons ago. 1-2 the count. 2-2. Eddie Murray on deck. 3-run homer is now the difference in this game. Got him. And Singleton, in disbelief, argues with Ford. Well, San Diego had its chicken, but obviously the Orioles have their wild bill. We'll be back in the 9th inning, but to take us toward the 9th, here's the wild man in action again.
Carpooling it up?
Makes good sense.
Kentucky Fried Chicken for dinner?
Makes even better sense.
Why's that?
Because I know the Colonel serves a good meal. A real meal. A fresh quality chicken. And what's more, they love it.
Kentucky Fried Chicken! Kentucky Fried
Boy, do they love it.
It's so nice, nice to feel. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Chrysler announces the truck and van rebate countdown. Get a Plymouth Trail Duster, Dodge van, Ram Charger, or a full-size pickup and get a $400 check to go with it. But put it in gear. The countdown is on. Chrysler is giving dealers the biggest cash incentives in Chrysler's history. Big discounts they can pass on to you. But hurry, the countdown is on. Get a great deal and a $400 check. The countdown is on.
On Sports World, China's top female gymnasts challenge an international field in China Invitational Gymnastics, plus exciting first-round coverage of the Legends of Bowling Saturday.
Top of the 9th inning, Memorial Stadium, Baltimore. The Orioles with a 3-run lead, 9-6, as this October day draws to a close. That orange sunset, rather symbolic here in Baltimore. The orange of the Orioles, dominant. Great crowd support. Excellent play by Baltimore, winning last night in extra innings and leading 9-6 going into the 9th today.
Dick, I'm almost certain we're going to have a pinch hitter here, probably Harlow.
It is Larry Harlow.
Larry Harlow for Bobby Clark. Clark had a rough time, but he's only had 50 at-bats in the major leagues, and suddenly you throw him into a pressure situation like this. Harlow at least has been through some of this.
Harlow started last night, as you see, unable to get a base hit. Harlow, Miller, and then Thon is scheduled for the Angels.
Harlow had trouble last night because he's really a low ball hitter and he was being pitched up high. Well, against Stanhouse, he'll probably see sinker balls, so he's got a much better chance right now.
Sparky, I would think that Earl Weaver's thoughts now are, hey, I don't want to see Lansford get up again. He's 5 hitters away.
That's what he's doing. Wherever the tying run lies, that's what he doesn't want to see. He's playing outs now, and he's going to count them down. He's got 3 to go.
in that direction periodically.
He's going to get very upset if he has a base on balls here.
Ball 3. Willie Davis with a batting helmet on, so apparently Fregosi thinking about using him to bat for Thon. Ball 4 on 4 pitches. The leadoff man is on. And Weaver just marching to the mound. That's the walk that usually means he's going to take company back with him. That's the unpardonable sin, walking the leadoff man. That's what started the 3-run 8th inning when starter Flanagan walked Anderson.
Oh, he's really mad. You can see it. I mean, that just isn't done, Dick. You just don't walk a guy in the 9th inning with a 3-run lead.
On 4 pitches, Harlow is at first. That's Stoddard, the right-hander, Martinez, the left-hander. And, of course, Weaver now, knowing that Fregosi doesn't have a lot of hitters on that bench, try to counter, would figure Martinez to pitch to Miller.
Well, Dick, you know what Earl's telling him out there right now. He said, well, Fregosi talked to you early, came out early in the ballgame and talked to you now. And now, look it, you're squeezing us. Now, let's loosen it up back there.
Aren't you surprised that he didn't bring in Martinez to pitch to Miller?
Well, he knows this. The Steinhaus can make him hit the ball on the ground because the one thing he does, as Wes said, he throws that sinker ball. He makes you hit the ball on the ground. He's going to go one more hitter, and then that's it.
Weaver right down the steps and into hiding.
Right into the into the cave. And he will yell and scream back there. He'll hear what's going on, and he will just yell out that frustration. He is such a competitor.
Of course, that's all concrete, a very closed pathway that goes into the clubhouse, so the noise just reverberates out of there.
The bench gets a good shot of it.
Ball 1. 5 in a row missed by Stanhouse, and now the crowd's getting a little nervous.
One more ball here, and I'll make you bet the party's over. Although he can't here now. He cannot remove Stanhouse again. He can't come out until this hitter's done.
Checking the lineup card. Let's watch Weaver's reaction as Stanhouse tries to throw him a strike. Little deep sigh. 1-1. Couple of statues in that dugout for the Orioles, Frank Robinson and Earl Weaver.
You know, Dick, Earl knows one thing. If this ball club, California club, would come back and win this game, he's got some problems going home to Anaheim and all those Angel fans.
Oh, he knows that well. And feeling a little better. He eases into the daylight. Oops, goes right on back there. That's his lucky spot. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rick Miller. Is grounded out twice and flied to left. He's hit the ball to the left side all 3 times. That's how they play him. Well, there's the double play ball. Not in time at first base. Good hustle by Miller to beat the relay.
Good call. Weaver doesn't like it, but he's singing emotionally. I thought he was safe. He had it beat.
In fact, there was almost a phantom play at second base. Garcia barely got the bag. Let's watch it.
We'll see it again now. This started out like a perfect double play ball. Garcia does it well, but Miller runs awful quick. We couldn't see his foot hit the bag. I thought he was safe.
There's again, and why Sparky just says time and time again, hit the ball the other way, hit the ball to the right side. It's a tougher double play. That same ball to shortstop.
Easy double play. See, and another thing, though, Dower was so good about he made sure 2 hands caught the ball. You watch Dower. He catches the ball, and then he gives it to him so good.
And a nice kick
Let
of the
him
bag.
take the ball out of his glove. Look at that. Made sure he hid the glove, got the glove kicked away, and gave him just a hand.
Garcia hitting that bag as he made his slide across, and not quite in time.
They really went for the 1. Like you were saying, Sparky, get 1 sure. That's exactly what they did.
Willie Davis pinch hitting for Thon. Ball 1. Davis used rarely throughout the year. Employed as a pinch hitter last night. Grounded out. Now 39 years of age after a couple of years in Japan. Joining the Angels this spring. He can still motor. Carew. Simple as this for Weaver as he studies it. If two Angels get on, then that tying run comes to the plate. Don Stanhouse, last night's winner. 1 ball, 1 strike the count, 1 out, 1 on. 9-6 Baltimore. 9th inning. 2-1. You almost have to agonize with Weaver. How would you like to take one of those stethoscopes and put it on Weaver's chest just to see what's happening inside him? I bet he just knock your eardrums loose.
Tell you, I'd love to play for a guy like that, though, Dick. As a player, I can see why they love him, because he really cares. He really wants to win.
Ball 3-1. And didn't miss by much, but too low. And now Weaver's going to take some of that frustration out on Ford, the umpire. That's got to help your health if nothing else, Earl. Get it out. Get it out.
Yeah, I've heard this said about Stanhouse that he's always trying to make that perfect pitch, and I think it's true, and that's why he's always going 3-1 and 3-2 on the hitters. He's just trying to be a little bit too fine.
Just in case Ford didn't hear, Weaver giving him a little extra. 3 balls, 1 strike to Davis. In there, 3-2. Davis trying to coax ball 4, but that was a good strike.
Dick, you have to admit one thing, and every time Hank Peters, the general manager, signs Earl's paycheck, that he knows Earl earns his money, because Earl's giving you every bit of it.
He just blew a gasket on that last one. I bet he can't even whisper now.
Ford's taking a couple of little looks over there now. I think Weaver finally got through to him. But I haven't seen Weaver miss a pitch yet. I think he's, or not Weaver, but Ford. I don't think he's missed one yet.
3-2. 1 out. Big pitch. Loop to left.
That's trouble.
Base hit. And into second base goes Davis. On to third, Miller. And the tying run comes to the plate as veteran Willie Davis doubles to left. Well, you've got to admire what has happened in that dugout. They didn't quit at 9-1, and whether they win or not, at least they'll go home with their heads up. Rod Carew, the batter.
Jimmy was just yelling to Darren Johnson, tell Willie Davis to make sure a line drive. He's not doubled up on a line drive. Your run don't mean a darn thing to us.
That's right. Those 2 runs don't mean anything. The only one the Orioles are concentrating on and the Angels must focus upon is a man at the plate, the tying run, Carew. Aaron Johnson, of course, the first base coach, and he has shouted that instruction to Davis. You saw Bobby Knopp, the third base coach, undoubtedly say the same thing to Miller.
You look at Baltimore now, they're guarding the lines, Dick, against that extra base hit. They don't want Carew, the tying run, to get an extra base hit.
Carew is 1 for 4 today. 4 hits in the series. Ball 1. And I'm a little surprised we're not seeing Martinez, a left-hander, in the pitch to Carew.
In turn here, if there's a base hit to the outfield, they won't even attempt to throw home. They'll throw the ball right to second base because the tying run is Carew, and that's the only thing right now they're worried about.
1 out. 9-6 Baltimore. They led 9-1 back in the third. If Carew were 100%, he is not. Although he has not a lot of home runs in his career, Sparky, you know that when he wants to go for it, he can hit it a long way.
And not only that, he knows game situations. Right now, they've got everything moving pretty good. He's going to try to get a base hit and leave it up to those big 3 guys coming up behind him with the power.
Lansford, Ford, and Baylor behind Carew. There's 1 out, and it's 9-7 as Miller scores. The second out of the inning.
That wasn't just 1 out. That was 1 very, very big out.
Here comes Carney Lansford. Who would have thought back in the third inning when the Orioles were rolling 9-1 that before the game was over with 2 out in the 9th, the tying run would be at the plate, and Carney Lansford.
Earl, Frank Robinson's telling him right now here, get off the lines a little. You move Murray off the line a little at first. You move the sensors over just a little. They don't care now. They want the final out, and they want to make sure a base hit don't go through.
Lansford hit 19 home runs this year. Ball 1. Davis at third. His run can't tie it.
But he didn't move him far enough off the line, Dick. He just moved him enough so that they would be able to get the ball down the line. But he's going to gamble just a hair. He moved him just a hair off.
1-0. 9-7 the score. Baltimore. 2 out. 9th inning.
Oh,
he had a good cut.
That ball was up. He had a chance to ride that out.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WBAL-TV, Baltimore 11.
The intense drama of these playoffs continues in Baltimore, although we didn't think so early. From 9-1, it's 9-7. 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the 9th inning. Earl Weaver hiding for cover. Can't stand to watch. Frank Robinson at the head of the Orioles ship. Man at third. 2 out. 1 ball, 1 strike on Carney Lansford. Hit 2 home runs in this series, Dan Ford.
That wouldn't have mattered, Dick. The wild pitch, if a run scores, that's only 9-8. You've got to get that hitter out.
Darren Stanhouse. Carney Lansford, the principals, in the 9th. Davis at third would be the 8th run.
Expected this. You said it in the 3rd inning. You said, you know, they're not out of it yet the way they can score runs. You got a crystal ball.
Behind second, here comes Singleton. Tough play. Base hit. 9-8 as Lansford singles to right, and the tying run is on. The go-ahead run. Ford comes to the plate. Oh my.
Singleton did not make a bad play on that ball, keeping it from getting by him. He almost overran it into a double. Let's have another look here. Watch Kenny. This ball will bounce up. He thought he might have had a play. Now he's just got to block that ball after he misses it. It really hits him in the leg, but he kept the ball in front of him. And Dower might have saved it from being a double, too.
Lansford, who may be the Angels' best runner from first to home in terms of speed, carries the tying run. 2 outs in the 9th inning. It's 9-8. Dan Ford, the batter. Ball 1.
I think it's been 2 packs, Dick.
2 packs is right, as Weaver surprisingly letting Stanhouse struggle through this 9th inning. I can't believe he's staying with him.
I am amazed. He's got such a superb bullpen down there. He could bring in almost anybody else, but he's staying with Stanhouse.
For Stanhouse, the one thing going for him, doesn't throw the home run ball. Base hit. Oh, a gamble by Lansford. He makes it, and Ford goes into second. So Lansford on the gamble, that forced the throw. The tying run at third. The go-ahead run at second for Dan Ford.
What a series Danny Ford is having. They had him shifted over to hit up the middle, and he pulls the ball right through that hole in the left field. And Carney Lansford, who has shown some outstanding base running this entire series, he goes to third base and draws the throw so that Ford can go down to second.
Could you ask for more? Runners at second and third, as you see Lansford outrun the throw from Lowenstein. Don Baylor the top Angel hitter, but he won't swing the bat. They're going to walk Baylor to load the bases. Brian Downing then will be the man who can possibly win it, or the Orioles win it, and Downing only happens to be the man with the best batting average of any right-hander in the American League this year. What a finish.
We've talked about this situation too, where you walk a man to load up the bases, and Stanhouse has been behind on so many hitters, you almost wonder if he might walk in that tying run.
This is the thing right here, Wes and Dick, that scared me, because Stanhouse does and is known for walking a man, and now you're putting him in a situation with 2 out and the bases loaded. He has to throw a strike. Downing knows this.
This Memorial Stadium crowd, as you look left, right, center field, bleachers, the boxes, half of them are standing, almost in disbelief that what has happened from 9-1 to 9-8. And the Angels have a halo over every base with 2 outs in the 9th, and Brian Downing, the hitter. He is 1 for 3 with a sacrifice fly.
I don't think Wild Bill would be too funny right now.
Well, Don Stanhouse needs just 1 out for the Orioles to win it, and Downing trying to keep it alive. Listen how quiet it has become. Ball 1. Fans trying to help plate umpire Ford. Downing has hit in the clutch all year for the season. Downing, 326. Bases loaded, 2 out. The play, the ball game is over. The Orioles win 9-8. DeCince, a heady play, knew the man was coming from second, and he just blocked Ford away. Ford, of course, doing all he could, trying to knock the ball free, but the game ends. A tremendous comeback, but it ends as it did last night for the Angels. They take the loser's walk back into the clubhouse. The Orioles jump in front 2-0 in the American League Championship Series. We'll be back with the totals in just a moment.
Now, the trick is in just 3 moves to get the light bottle caps all together, moving 2 each time. Once, twice, 3.
What? That's easy.
Hey, I could put away a lot of beer by the time they figure this one out. That's why I'm drinking light beer from Miller. Not only does light taste great, but it's got 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. And it's less filling.
Hey, what's going on here?
Okay, once more. 1, 2, 3.
What? That's easy. Let me in.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. When you play the Gillette World Series baseball game, you can win $10,000.
That ball is going.
And a brand new Chrysler. Win a new Dodge Omni.
Here's the throw.
Win cars, cash, and save over $10 on Gillette products. See magazines for cash savings and details. Then go to Gillette displays and stores and see if you've won.
What a ball game.
The World Series baseball game from Gillette.
Start your day with NFL 79, followed by regional coverage of exciting NFL action. Telecasts include the Steelers-Browns battle and the Bronco-Chargers clash Sunday.
A partisan crowd of 52,108 at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore enjoyed 2 different games. Early, it was all Orioles as they cheered a 9-1 lead. And then it was a matter of starting to swallow harder and harder. Earl Weaver symbolized it. He couldn't even look as the Angels scored 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, and the game ended with the bases loaded as Baltimore wins it 9-8.
Promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United's building the largest airline in the world around you. Fly the friendly skies.
Dick Enberg for West Park. Wes Parker and Sparky Anderson, great job, men. One thing, we can all look forward to tomorrow night in Anaheim. Oh, these 2 teams are well matched. Game 2 of the American League Championship Series, brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. See the mileage makers at your Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth dealers. By Pepsi-Cola and your local Pepsi-Cola bottlers. Have a Pepsi Day. By Atra, for closeness with comfort, it's Gillette's best shave. And by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer, and less. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. The coordinating producer of baseball's League Championship Series has been Michael Weissman. Today's game produced by Michael Weissman, directed by Harry Coyle. Technical director Bruce Berquist. Associate producer Bill Peters. Associate director Richard Klein. Tomorrow, Game 3, the National League Championship from Pittsburgh. As Cincinnati, down 2-0 will meet the Pirates. That'll be at 3 Eastern Time. Then Game 3 of the American League Series tomorrow night from Anaheim Stadium. That at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. All right here on NBC, the network of the 1980 Olympics.
On Disney.
We're going to be rich beyond our wildest dreams.
Dean Jones stars in the hilarious conclusion of The $1 Million Duck.